You're about to listen to TADPOG, Tyler and Dave Play Old Games. It's a comedy video game podcast. We would like to stress that the hosts are not experts and are really just very crass commentators. Seriously, this is an explicit podcast that happens to talk about video games sometimes. So please enjoy this pretty okay podcast with Tyler and Dave.
Yar, hello internet, and welcome to another TADPOG podcast, where we be going back to old episodes that are no longer existing and redoing them.
Yeah, this is a new episode. This isn't the clip show intro where it's like, let's take a look back at our old episode Hook.
Right.
But wait, actually, let's do that. Let's just play that now. Then we can all go home and go to sleep.
So today we're going to be redoing Hook. We needed a quick turnaround, and this is a short, fun game, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
So since we done it before, it was just Ian, you kind of catching up a little bit on it, and we could do an episode.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So that was the pirate thing. For my,
Oh, you were a pirate.
Oh,
okay. A pirate.
Yeah. A pirate. Okay.
That's what I had written down.
So before we get into Hook, so what you guys been up to in the last few days?
Well, I don't have a whole lot to add to what I talked about in last week's episode because we recorded last week's episode 3 days ago. So I'm still just going through Demon Slayer. I did watch Hook for the first time.
Yeah.
Hook.
Hook?
Hook? Turner and Hook?
What is this Hook?
I never saw this movie, and
That surprises me.
It surprised me too.
Yeah, the list of movies I've seen and you haven't, Ian, has got to be like 3 movies in most.
Now it's 2.
now it's
You've
2.
seen Hook.
Dave and I watched Hook last night together. Not quite Joe Dirt style. We did it remotely.
It was still good.
The plan was originally for us to play Power Wash Simulator together, and since I hadn't seen the movie
While we watched,
and since I hadn't seen the movie, I just turned on my Xbox and then forgot it was on, and it shut itself off, and I just kept watching the movie. This movie came out in 1991, which is the year I graduated high school.
I was 7.
I was 10.
Yeah. So, I've never been into the Peter Pan thing much. It's just never, it's not that I have anything against it. It's just never really appealed to me.
You're not a Sandy Duncan fan?
So I was just about to ask about Sandy Duncan.
One of them Sandy boys?
I've never seen any of those like Peter Pan musicals or plays or whatever they are, but fuck, I've seen the commercials. I've seen the shit out of those commercials.
You've seen Sandy Duncan in the kids' bedroom.
Right. yeah, it's like I get out of school watching Charles in Charge. It's like, oh, buckle up for 8 Sandy Duncan Peter Pan commercials.
A special television event. Okay, sure. I'll be in bed.
Yeah.
I liked the Disney Peter Pan when I was a kid, and that was always a thing. I had a Disney album of a montage of songs, from Disney movies that I used to play over and over and over. Drove my parents fucking crazy. But the Peter Pan songs were on there.
Man, I haven't seen Peter Pan in a long time. I'm trying to remember the songs that were in there.
Well, it was just really the one where they fly.
Oh, okay.
I just keep thinking Peter and the Rabbit every time I try.
I believe you. I just don't.
Well,
man, I think I was a child the last time I saw it. If I would have had time,
me too, yeah.
I might have rewatched. When I didn't have the record. So.
Right. It's burned into my brain. So anyway, maybe I'll use it as a transition. But not that you would hear it if I did that. Use that song as a transition between segments.
Not you speaking to me
Dave.
personally.
Yeah.
Correct.
You would not hear it
unless when you add after you edit it, you're like, listen to these timestamps.
You need to hear these
Right.
timestamps, sucker.
I always do when you do that, but when you don't, it's like I just assume everything's great. Everyone loves it.
But yeah, I never got really into Peter Pan, and then of course I was busy being an 18-year-old. Soon-to-be father,
Hellion,
when Hook came out. So I never got around to it, and then it just never came back on my radar. So
Yeah,
we
why
watched
would
it.
it?
We watched it last night for the purposes of seeing it, so I could maybe supplement the gameplay. And aside from that, that's really all I've done this week is just watch Hook and Demon Slayer.
What was your opinion on Hook? Was it time well spent?
Do we want to get into it now, or do we want to say?
Well,
segment?
I've got lots
certainly.
to say about the game and the movie.
Well, yeah, we'll save it for the
So
next
when we get to the next segment, I feel like the first segment's not going to be terribly long this
We can
evening.
do a draft.
We
Draft
could do a
sounds good.
draft.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
good. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I've been playing some shit.
Have you?
Final Fantasy 16 demo came out after we
Ooh.
recorded.
Have you been working out, Dave?
Yes.
I can see it in your arms.
Oh, thanks.
Let's go.
Thank you. I loved that demo. I cannot wait for this game to come out.
Oh, yeah.
And it is like, it's a departure from the series. It's a action game, and that is crazy. There are like skill trees and stuff. So there is a leveling up like system, and there's an experience system, but like it's pretty. I've never played any Devil May Cry games, but people are comparing it to Devil May Cry.
Oh, okay, I never played those either.
Tonally, I'm assuming they're not similar because, like, from the clips I've seen of Devil May Cry, where he's like Dante is like surfing on a torpedo.
Yep.
Woo! I didn't see any of that in Final Fantasy 16 demo, but
That's a summon.
God, it better be.
That's Alexander. That's what
It better be. I'm down for that. Man, it was awesome. It comes out in like 10 days, maybe. Well, by the time this publishes, it'll be much sooner than that. But I'm ready. I'm ready for it. It's really like Game of Thrones inspired, and that shows. Some of it seems a little like they're trying too hard. Like it's like some of the swearing is very much like, okay, you put that doesn't sound natural. It sounds like you put it in there because this
milk of the poppy out of my mother's nipples.
Yeah, you put it in there because it's like an adult game. It's rated M for mature, which is also odd for a Final Fantasy game.
We've got a guy at work that uses phrases like cheese and crackers.
Really?
Chocolate drops.
Can we get him on?
I'm sure he'd come. He's a huge anime fan, so I bet he'd
There we
love to
go.
come.
You
Talk
think we can
about
get him
anime.
to swear?
Well, he'll swear too.
Oh,
but for
okay.
whatever. I think he
Never mind,
reserves,
not
I think he
interested anymore.
reserves his safe swears for like Teams chat.
Gotcha.
So there's
His
maybe
safe
not a log
swears.
of him being
like that.
vulgar in
Yeah.
Teams chat.
Will he touch his fingers and be like, I don't know about this, Ian Senpai?
At first, I thought you were going Butters, but
Yeah. I don't know about this, Ian Senpai.
Sorry.
no, it's all good. But yeah, I mean, the game. I have no idea what the temperature is. I haven't been paying attention to like the conversations online about it. People may be hating it because it's a big departure. I don't know.
Like they do.
But I don't know, man. Sign me up because I'd rather it be a straight action game than whatever Final Fantasy VII Remaster was. Not that I thought that was bad or anything, but it's just like that like hybrid kind of like thing just didn't really super click with me. And action games are just action games. It's kind of like, it's nice. And also like the beauty of it is like, the demo is like the first chapter, and because it's an action game, and I guess they could do this in anything, but they're like, it's over the top a little bit in regards where it's like your first boss fight essentially is against a Marlboro, and it's like that you don't typically see like that kind of enemy until like
So mid to late.
later in the game.
Against the what?
A Marlboro.
I thought you said a Marlboro, like a cigarette.
Well, yeah, they're named after the cigarette.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know these things. So I was
they're
like,
manifestations of black lung.
Yes. Yeah, they're like these plant creatures that have an ability called bad breath. And it's like
Ooh.
when you get hit
so
with
they're pro smoking, is what you're
yeah,
telling me.
yeah. When you get hit with bad breath, you get like hit with like all the status ailments. It's like blind, slow, silence. It depends on the
all
game.
the things that I am as a smoker.
Yes,
that is some true to life accuracy there. I like it.
But I can't wait. I'm really excited. I was a little leery about it. And there are things, and it's like medieval. So it's like straight up medieval, which is something they haven't done in a really long time.
Yeah, maybe not since 9.
Yeah, I think that's right. So I think it's cool, man. I think it's cool that I think it's cool that they try. It seems like they try a lot of different stuff in their main line, like Final Fantasy main line, because it's like 14's an MMO, 15 was like Kingdom Hearts style. 13 was, I barely know anything about 13 because I just played it for a little bit. Was 13 turn-based? I honestly don't even know.
It was like that. It was that hybrid style system.
And then 12 was that like logic program where you program the NPCs, which I fucking loved, and I think a lot of people hated. But there are a lot of like conditionals, like you set your party members to be like, if I'm at less than 50% HP, then heal. So it's like you're building these like chains of logic, and like as you level up, you can add to the chain and make it longer. Thought it was really cool. But my point is, I think it's cool that they change it up a lot. And I don't know if that's like on purpose or if they're like, I'm sure it's on purpose, but I don't know if it's like, we're just trying to figure out this whole Final Fantasy thing, because
I would assume it's because all the mainline programmers change all the time. So it's just that team's style.
Yeah.
That team's iteration.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm looking forward to that. I started playing Diablo 4.
I was going to ask you if you had gotten into that one.
Yeah.
I'm still on the fence. I'm tempted to buy it. I play Overwatch still, but I just kind of want to play something like, fun that's going to occupy some time and be satisfying, but I haven't been able to pull the trigger on it yet.
Yeah. I like it a lot. I'm playing as a necromancer. As a hardcore, which I've never done before, but I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to finish this game anyway. So like, I mean,
well, you have a good enough internet connection now to do it, because during Diablo 3
2,
days,
oh yeah, even
dropping
Diablo
everything,
3.
you would have been dead in hardcore like instantly.
Yeah, they've got this thing called like, it hasn't happened to me yet, but they've got this thing called like a scroll of escape, where it's like if the server goes down or something, the hardcore characters like automatically use the scroll of escape and they get teleported somewhere. Now, from what I've read, where they're teleported is random.
So it could be worse.
So I don't know.
You could be worse off than you were.
But I don't know. I was just kind of thinking, it's like, because when I was playing the demo, it's like, this is really fun. And I did die playing the demo. I wasn't playing as a hardcore character, but it was like, after I died in the demo, I noticed that I was having a lot less fun for whatever reason. And so when I created this character, when I created this necromancer, I just was like, random appearance. And I went to like the Morkborg random name generator and was like, random.
Nice.
And I just fucking put that info in and let's fucking roll. Let's go. And it's been fun. I mean, I'm not like super high level or anything, like level 17, which is like little baby necromancer, but there have been some close calls, and like those close calls, like I feel that adrenaline dump, you know what I mean? Where it's like all of a sudden I can hear my pulse in my ears,
Yes.
So yeah.
That means it's working.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So I was telling Henry about it, and because he's familiar with hardcore because of Minecraft.
Right.
There are servers where there's a hardcore mode where if you die in Minecraft, you get kicked and banned from the server, which I think is neat. I would not do it in Minecraft because I die a lot in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like constantly I'm dying in Minecraft. But yeah, we'll see how it goes in Diablo 4. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it's really well done. It's fun because it's like, I don't know that I'm even going to go through the campaign because the world is pretty open and you can explore the world, and there are like these little dungeons that you can go into and do those dungeons. There are side quests that you can do. So honestly, I think I'm just going to do that. Because I feel like it's going to be safer than fighting all these like campaign bosses and stuff. And I don't know if all hardcore characters like find this early on, but I found something early on called like, it's a recipe for an elixir of life or undying or something like that. And it's this like,
you got to get it back to the Shogun.
You're right. Yeah. Before you start growing flowers and shit.
Flowers out of your eyeballs.
It's like where if you drink it, if you die within the next 30 minutes, you come back to life. And I don't know if I just got real lucky and found this recipe, but like I'm trying to find all these ingredients now because it's like, yeah, this is great. I can pretty much have a re-raise if I can gather all these ingredients. And the areas, they scale with your level. So it's not like, I think it's neat because I don't even know if we're going to leave the main area because it's this like cool, like snowy looking area. And it's like, that just keeps leveling with me. And, might just try to max out my renown because like that's a mechanic in the game now where it's like, if you clear out enough dungeons and do enough side quests, your renown grows. And in that area, and as it grows, you get benefits like extra skill points and money and stuff like that. So it's cool. They've got like a lot of cool. They're definitely making it more MMO light, even than Diablo 3 was. That's really what it feels like to me. Is that they're like, we're gonna put a lot of MMO elements into this without it being a pure MMO. And it's fucking scratches that itch that I'm constantly fighting against in Final Fantasy 14. I like Final Fantasy 14 a lot. I think it's a really cool game, but that game is so story focused that everything is, well, not everything, but a lot of things are gated behind the story. So it's like you have to have progressed the story so far before you can do certain things and go to certain areas, which I think is really cool. But a lot of times in MMOs, the way I like to play is, how do I get to the max level the most efficient way possible?
Yeah.
Like I get a lot of enjoyment out of that.
Me too.
Where it's like, okay, yeah, that's
how I did it in Ultima.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Girl, same. And, and I love that. It's a great.
It's really satisfying, and you feel like you've got something really cool, and then you can roll another character that does something totally
right, exactly.
different.
Yes.
And then before you know it, you have this fucking arsenal.
Right.
That you could just kind of like we used to do back in the day, where it'd be like, we had, if I were a Grandmaster Smith, someone needed some shit, they'd be like, hey, can I get some armor? I just log in, make them some armor, give it to them, log out, go back to battle.
Right, yeah, totally. I love that. And I love it. I mean, you can kind of do that in Final Fantasy 14 in regards where it's like, instead of having alternate characters, any character in the game can have as many jobs as they want. So they can switch between jobs. And that's great. But what kind of happens is, once again, you have to, in order to like access like in-game stuff, you have to like be current with the story, and you have to like continue that they call it the main story quest. And so for me, it's a lot of fun leveling characters. Like I like that. I like mixing it up with new mechanics and learning like a new, this is how this job works and stuff like that. So, so Diablo kind of like, with it having those MMO elements where it's like, you can get to max level without touching the story if you want to. It's like, yeah. All right. Yeah, that sounds good.
Let me ask you this. Does the story element of the game also level up with you? So, so if you max level, then you run the story, then it's not going to be like walking through Devastator style and just easy, right?
Presumably, I don't know because I haven't done it yet. But I do feel like in a lot of games, even when it scales, I still feel like it gets a little bit easier. Like even like, especially like Fallout, because Fallout will do that, where like monsters will scale with your level. But I mean, it's still
harder earlier on.
Yeah, way harder earlier on. So I don't know.
Have later on in the game, you have more at your disposal. More tools in your kit.
Yeah, precisely. So yeah, man, don't know that I would recommend it to you because I don't. It's because it's a $70 video game. You know what I mean?
I know.
So
That's what stopped me.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough to be like,
is.
yeah, buy it because that's a lot of fucking money. And I couldn't find it really on sale anywhere because it's a Blizzard game.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I just bought it because I wanted it real bad. So,
Hey, I get it.
but yeah, man, it's been fun.
I've just been working. It's the new company's in. It's transition time going from my old company to my new company and switching out processes and programs and recipes and practices and policies. And so I'm bugging beat. It's been a lot of early mornings, long days. Melissa's worked, so she works 12s when she works. So then when I've been working later, but I get off and get dinner, so that's done by the time she gets home because then we have to rinse and repeat when she's on multiple 12s like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I've done on beat.
I believe it. It sounds like it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So I got to do it again next week, and then we should be good.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a quick and this transition team is very nice. This new company, I'm looking forward to it. They've been great people, so it's gonna be
That's
be a
good.
good change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, you're looking forward to that break,
Yeah.
or at least less work. I won't call it a break.
Yeah,
but
and then
maybe
once
less-
everything is in place, it'll be even better. 'Cause This
Cool.
company has more resources and tools and stuff than
Oh,
my
that's
last
good.
company, so
it's good.
it'll
to
be
hear.
good.
Cool.
In the meantime, you guys want to do a draft?
I'm down to do a
I
draft.
do want to do a draft. Before we jump into that, since I think tonight everybody
You want
is
it?
listening, we're not going to do a.
Oh no, I'm okay. Sorry.
I do need a writing implement, please. We're not going to do a community corner tonight. So I've got something I wanted to do real quick before we did that, and that is I brought you guys presents.
What
Presents.
I brought you something.
for Father's Day?
Yes. As a matter of fact, it is. How did you figure that out?
Because it's the only present I'll get. So
That Sunday? Yeah.
so I'm gonna cherish this, Ian.
I brought you something. This is these are T-shirts.
Are they the Bass Pro Shop T-shirts we've been wanting?
I had to do the Cabela T-shirt. Sorry. So these are two T-shirts. These were designed by my son.
Okay.
Oh, sweet.
Nice. Dippin' Dot shirts. Hell yeah, man.
He did the design for that, and
Ice
they
cream of the
liked it
future.
so much they put it on a T-shirt.
It
So-
feels like a good shirt,
It
too.
does.
Nice
feel like a good
quality
shirt.
shirt. Yeah, they're real nice shirts. So I'll try to
That's awesome.
get a
Thanks,
picture
man.
and
Thank you.
post those up on the Discord or something for everyone to see what they look here. Just actually lay one out there,
Yeah,
hold
dude.
it up or something. Could have taken a picture first, I
Is
reckon.
that good?
And just like that. We don't really need to see the logo. Dippin' Dots, the ice cream of the future. Future.
Circus of value.
Circus on values. My
Thanks, man.
yeah, my son works for Dippin' Dots and is one of the graphic designers there, and he gets all the swag. He brought home a stuffed like a big stuffed animal, only it was a Dippin' Dots cup
I
with
thought you said it was stuffed with Dippin' Dots.
it was like a plush that looks like a giant big old cup of Dippin' Dots, only it
that's
has
cool.
eyes and a mouth and nose, and it's like a mascot named Dottie.
Okay, I'm behind it.
Cohen got that, and he's real happy with that one.
Awesome.
Yeah. So anyway,
So draft ideas.
What you got?
Let's see. Go through the great list. Waifus, Mario games, guest hosts, presidents, Marvel heroes, Marvel villains, X-Men, cartoons.
do you think we could do a full draft on game shows?
Game shows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I think so.
Let's do game
Game
shows.
shows.
Game
Hell yeah.
shows.
Hell
Hell yeah. Fuck, man. Yeah, this is going to be hard to like narrow it down.
A lot of this is coming down to the dice roll for me,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh, like in regards to who goes first?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
2, Ian.
There you go,
It's
bud.
me. So I going first? Okay.
Yep.
My first game show pick. It's a tough one.
I've got a guess, but I'm going to hold my guess until you answer.
Shit. I've painted myself into a corner now because I like game shows. I used to love game shows.
Oh yeah, dude. Absolutely.
Man, when I get to stay home from school
Abso-flogging-lutely.
or during summertime.
I think you and I have the exact same one. One slot.
I don't know, man. We might not. We probably do, but
Yeah, I think we probably do.
that's okay though. I got plenty. There's so many good ones.
I'm gonna go with my gut and say The Price is Right. That's my first pick.
That's a really solid, fucking great pick. It's not the one that I guessed that you were gonna say. But
I think The Price is Right.
Bob Barker or Drew Carey?
Bob Barker.
Yeah.
I have nothing against Drew Carey,
Same.
and I think he runs the show nicely. I think he's an excellent host for the little bit I've seen of it. But it's Bob Barker.
Bob Barker all the way, man. I remember being like in kindergarten. We had half-day kindergarten. And I remember going to school. I had morning kindergarten. Going to school, coming home, and then watching The Price is Right. And like, man, I'd love it when those women would jump. Holy shit. Like that was like 80% of the reason I watched The Price is Right, to see the women jump. And then 20% was Plinko.
Yeah. Well, I think the show
I like the
altogether.
yodeler too. The mountain,
Yeah.
It was the thing that I liked about it was the fact that was a game show that was essentially the game show equivalent of a sketch comedy show, right?
Yeah.
Every different games every week, every time, and
Oh, I hope they do this one.
I do. Always looking forward to the games and people going crazy for Plinko. That was always a huge deal, and. Yeah, it was a good time.
Wheel.
And the fact that show was an hour long.
Yeah.
It was an hour-long game show, and I mean, it was just like
every day,
10
5 days
a.m. to 11 a.m. every morning.
Yeah.
If I could, I'd watch that. I never missed it.
Man, that was like whenever I was sick. Oh man, when I was sick and stayed home from school,
It got me through a lot
goddamn
of
right. I'm watching
illness.
The Price is Right. Like
Bob Barker and his ladies got me through a lot of illnesses.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the go-to. So yeah,
Yeah,
Price is
man.
Right for me.
excellent pick. Excellent.
My number one, unequivocally, without reservation, is Match Game.
Oh, okay.
Great
Match Game
pick.
like
Great
a motherfucker.
Yeah, Match Game's great.
I could still, Melissa and I could sit down and watch Match Game,
Yeah.
watch bloopers on Match when it comes up on TikTok.
God, it's-
Yeah.
She loves finding the contestants and then friending them on Facebook from Match Game in the fucking 70s.
I love it, dude. Man, yeah, Match Game is so good. Is there an iteration of Match Game on now currently?
There
did
was.
one with-
Alec Baldwin hosted one, I believe.
They did
like a few years
Yes, that's right. It was actually fairly
ago.
recently.
I never saw it.
We watched it a few times. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was weird seeing Alec Baldwin as the host, but he did a good job of it. I
I
mean,
could
it was
believe
that
it.
same
Yeah.
laid back kind of everybody
I think he had
cracking
the
on
stick
one
mic
another.
like
and-
Gene Rayburn had.
Yeah,
Nice.
totally went the full Monty on that one, and it was a good. It was a good show. I think they kept very true to the format.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you'd have liked it just fine.
Dave, you're number one.
It's tough, man, because there are so many to choose from, and it's like I want to pick ones that I want to block you guys, but not to block, just to save them for me. I mean, there are a lot of good ones. I have to go with Press Your Luck. I have to.
Press Your Luck is great.
I absolutely
It
have
was-
to go with Press Your Luck.
S tier. I love that.
I love
show.
that damn show, and it's like
They brought that back for a while too.
Yeah,
Elizabeth
yeah.
Banks hosted. We
Really?
watched it as well. It was
Well, I
nighttime.
mean, we do reference it every
episode, almost,
Yeah.
just about every episode.
And now
yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I'm playing the Press Your Luck board sound behind our
Right.
behind the randomizers. So
I wouldn't. But what's fucked up is like it's a great show. Like, but what makes it are the animations of the whammies.
Oh, God.
like I mean, that was the hook for me as a kid. Was
Oh.
just like
again, mass appeal right
Yeah.
there. Everybody loved the whammies. Everybody
Yeah.
thought that was hilarious. I loved that shit.
and then the history behind the guy who broke the game. And
Yeah.
Yeah, God, I watched that. You found it, then I watched that documentary or whatever. On
I wish I
YouTube
could
about how
remember
he
his
did it.
name,
Man.
but yeah. That's great. Where he just like
Yeah.
memorized the board, and it's like
knew how to
when
hit
to
it.
stop it,
Yeah.
knew how to not get a whammy ever, and yeah,
And you could win big goddamn money on that board. Most of the time it was luck,
Right. Unless you're
which you
counting
would
cards.
press.
Right.
But yeah. It was tough, and you could make a lot of fucking money on there. I loved seeing people win big money, big bucks.
I loved watching them lose too. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, both ways, because again, it's like
if they're up like $100,000 and they press their luck and fucking you're done, you're out, and they weren't like apologetic about it.
I just wanted to see those cartoons real bad.
Yeah.
So every time I remember being like 7 to be like, please wham me, please wham me. Please, God, show me a cartoon, please. Was he gonna be wearing a cape and sunglasses?
Have dynamite he's throwing and exploding all their money away.
Yep.
And they'd have little lines that they would say, little scripts.
Yep.
God, yeah, they're great.
I loved it so much.
Wonderful show.
Ian?
Oh, this is a very tough draft. I just spit it out, and I'm thinking, God,
That's a good one.
It's a great one.
idea.
But I think I'm gonna go for my second one. I'm gonna go with the $25,000 pyramid.
Wow.
That was a fucking
dude.
really great show for
Wow.
me, and I loved the final round where they had. God, it was that tense moment where they would get to the end.
They were all
get
so
that
bad.
last square. Oh, I know.
It was always like, watching it was always like an act of frustration, because it's like, because as the audience, the answer. So like
Yeah.
the whole time it's like, oh my God, how can you not, how are you not getting this?
No, but that one went on for so long.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good moments. Dick Clark hosted. It just, again, one of those shows that just hit me at the right time and was super entertaining. And honestly, a lot of the bullshit trivia I know is from game shows like that.
Yeah.
It's just shit that I picked up along the way.
I'm so glad you reminded me of that show, because I watched it a lot as a kid, and I never think about it.
Yeah, I still sometimes get the theme song to that show stuck.
How's that one go?
Oh,
yes. Fuck yeah. Yes.
I watched a lot of TV when I was a kid. I didn't have
me
brothers
too.
or sisters, so
Yeah,
I just
same.
So my only thing to do when I wasn't outside playing with friends, I watched TV all the fucking time, and game shows just were a huge deal.
game shows, man.
And this one, Price is Right, man. This just keeps getting better.
I've loved every iteration, but it's been taken to the next level by one Steve Harvey.
Damn.
So I gotta say, Family Feud.
That's a good
that was
one.
gonna be my next pick, but I had a feeling you might grab it. That's a great show, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Richard
That's a
Dawson
great
man
show.
myself.
I love Richard
I like Richard
Dawson.
Dawson, too.
Steve Harvey, though,
Man.
Steve Harvey's good.
He's made.
He's
he
real
made
I've
good.
seen him on it. Yeah, he is.
He's fantastic.
It's perfect fit for him.
Yep.
Yeah, and like his reactions
Those looks
are so.
that have made how many hundreds of memes?
Yeah.
It's great shit.
His reactions are the best. It almost feels like that show, kind of like early on. Because have you ever watched any like the ones from like the 70s? Those are fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like they always had these like, they're really leaning into our contestants are dumb now, you know, and I love it. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's great.
Back in the 80s and the 70s, man, it was cutthroat, and they were playing to fucking win.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, again, another one of those really great moments.
I was really turned off by it as a kid because of their names, like cross stitched, and for whatever reason I hated that. I fucking
know.
hated it. I was like, "What is this?
Grandma.
Yeah, what is this? The Cracker Barrel game show? Like, what is this?
What is this?
shit?
Mama's Family?
I hated that. I hated it.
What is the worst month to be pregnant? September. Everybody God, it's so good. The one I saw recently where Steve Harvey was like, "Finish this, leave it." The guy was like, "In." The ones where he has to stop and wave and stop the time clock and walk away.
Okay, so I'm a little upset I didn't get Family Feud, but I totally get it. It should have been a first round pick. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go Newlywed Game in the same
Newlywed Game is
in the same vein of like
the bloopers. In
the
Newlywed
bloopers.
Game.
Holy shit! I gotta go Newlywed Game. I remember watching that as a kid, and I loved it as a kid. And then watching the reruns and stuff like in my 20s, and man, that
Mommy, what's whoopee?
Ooh.
The dirtiest place you ever made whoopee. The booty? Yeah, in the butt.
Yeah, man.
That was a moment in TV fucking history.
Yeah, absolutely.
The audience, the host, everybody lost their shit. I remember that.
Yeah, great game show. I love that one.
Ian, number 3.
Me, gotta go with Wheel of Fortune.
Mm-hmm.
I still watch Wheel of Fortune.
That's the one I was gonna guess was gonna be your first pick. Was Wheel?
Yeah, and I do love the show. Good old Pat Sajak's retiring after this season, I hear.
Yeah.
So good for him for getting out and getting doing something. But hell,
that doesn't have anything to do with wheels,
right? He's been
or letters.
He's like a pit crew
or Vanna. But yeah, that's just been another standby. And I remember, I don't know if you guys remember the old version of Wheel of Fortune, the original show. They would
heard about it, so I've never seen this.
Yeah, the way they would play the game like normal. They'd pick letters and get money for the letters they would pick, and the rules were always the same. The vowels cost you $250 or whatever. I think the price has actually gone up.
Inflation.
It is. It's
Thanks,
inflation. Obama. But at the end of it, there wasn't a bonus round. At the end of every round, the winner would go and shop and pick things that were in a room, and it was like there is the most brilliant way of advertising ever. They would have this big, kind of whatever they call it, almost a Lazy Susan thing on the big studio floor.
Yeah.
And then there would be a whole kitchen set, and everything would have price tags on it. And then they would say, Pat, I'll take the refrigerator for $700. And they would buy things based on how much money they had in their bank. And then the stuff that they purchased, they would then talk about. Oh, you've got the Amana refrigerator, frost-free ice cube maker, the whole 9 yards. And it was really, and you would be watching and be like, don't buy that. Style. Don't buy that ugly table. What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't buy that. It was very much Price is Right style, where you would have like the showcase. Uh-huh. Only this was after every round, they'd get to buy stuff with their money. So yeah, it was really neat. But cool. even without that, I just like the hangman style game. I think that's always been really cool, and the fact that the wheel can fuck you, it could just ruin your whole game. So yeah, great game, Wheel of Fortune.
Hell yeah.
3. Hell yeah.
I remember having that one on DOS as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I played the hell out of that.
My next one Geo Party.
Geo Party. I don't know about this one.
It's really good.
I don't know.
I like Trebek. Jeopardy.
Oh, shit.
Jeopardy.
Both of us.
You got
Both
me.
of us are like, what? Geo Party.
I was going with, I don't even
Metro
know.
Geo?
Yeah.
Geo Metro? Which one is it?
I was thinking some kind of geography thing. I don't know. You got it. Yeah, Jeopardy. Fuck.
Love the shit out of Jeopardy.
Great show. Geo Party.
Geo Party. We have some more Jeopardy sports games, I think.
Yay!
We have a sports game and then another like Jeopardy SNES game that we might draw. It's to me.
Yep.
I am going to go with Legends of the Hidden Temple.
That's a good one. Very good one.
Fuck, I love that. I love that fucking show, man. That was like, out of all, like so many Nickelodeon shows, I was like, oh man, I want to be on that. I want to be on that. But like Hidden Temple, like that would have been a great one to be on.
Yeah.
Like way better than Guts, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know there were a lot of Guts fans. I liked it. I watched it. Legends of the Hidden Temple, fuck, man, with that like jungle theme and all that. Oh, all the teams, man.
Blue Barracuda
systems.
motherfucker. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was fucking rad. I mean, Nick
Kirk Fogg.
Yeah. Olmec, let's rock. It's like, fuck, man. It doesn't get any better than this. Nick Arcade, like, I remember thinking, oh, man.
That damn Shrine of the Silver Monkey. No, the head goes on last.
I know,
the
man.
head goes on last.
Dude, there's that YouTube supercut of kids failing at that puzzle, and it's hilarious.
Into the Shrine of the Silver Monkey.
Yeah, they all suck at it. But like, I remember watching that and like Nick Arcade and like Guts and all those like Nickelodeon game shows, man. Like Double Dare, obviously, but like Hidden Temple, like that was the one for me, man. I like being at a con and seeing like the lazy Hidden Temple cosplay because it's so good.
Just the shirt.
Yeah, the shirt.
Maybe
like,
a bike helmet.
Yeah, a helmet. Yeah. It's some like shorts, some khaki shorts.
Hey, at least they're participating.
Right. No, absolutely. They're doing way more than I am. It's
Right.
it's perfect because it's like that's what it was. Yeah, man.
Ian, number 4.
God, I'm gonna run out.
There's
spots. Can we do 10?
There's a lot. There's a lot.
We could do a 10 of this.
I know.
You're right.
Well, maybe we could do part 2. Save our answers and do part 2 next
I'll
week.
forget what I said.
I got them written down.
Oh, cool.
So again, these were all so good and so plentiful.
Mm-hmm. A plethora.
A plethora, if you will. Would you say I have a plethora of game shows? See, you have a plethora.
Shit, I mean, do we want to do 10?
No,
We could.
Yeah, because if we split it, what's going to happen is people are going to talk about things that we missed on Discord, and they're going to influence our answers if we do a part 2.
If y'all want to do 10, we'll do 10. Fuck it.
I'm going to do 10.
Cool.
Okay. Well, my number 4 is Card Sharks.
Card Sharks.
I thought about Card
I
Sharks.
really liked that when it came on, either before or after Press Your Luck. In that block, I think Wheel of Fortune might have been like,
man.
or I think Price is Right might have been like 9 to 10, and then after Price is Right came Press Your Luck and Card Sharks.
Dude, you are doing it for me tonight with like reminding me of things that I watched the shit out of and then forgot. Like with Pyramid and then Card Sharks. Like, I mean, both of those shows.
I used to
like,
think-
wow.
I used to think Bob Eubanks was the coolest motherfucker
Hell yeah.
in the world. I love that guy.
Yeah.
I loved Bob Eubanks.
So just because it features one of the greatest bands of all time, Rockapella,
Ah.
where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego. Good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Good answer. Great answer. Man. Yeah, dude.
I watched a YouTube sort of mini doc about that show and how they pitched it so many different places and no one wanted to pick it up, and how like the links they had to do to get the judge, the woman who played the chief to play the chief, like they wanted her so badly, like they had to shop it around till eventually like PBS picked it up, and then they had to take more of an educational spin on it and all this stuff. Like
That works.
it was
That
super
works out
interesting.
great,
It
man.
all worked.
Although I will say that I feel like if that show did not have Rockapella, that it would have fucking fallen really super flat.
Yeah, they made it fun and different.
Absolutely.
Dave, number 4.
Number 4, I am going with win, lose, or draw.
Oh my God!
Win, lose, or draw.
Click, click.
Oh, man.
Ching. Core memory unlocked. I had
Dude.
forgotten all about Win, Lose, or Draw.
Man, we had the home version.
Fucking
Yeah,
love
which is
it.
really just paper and pencil. But you can buy it in the box if you want to.
Didn't Vicki Lawrence host that?
Man, I do not remember. I think they had multiple hosts.
Well, Vicki, I had a huge crush on Vicki Lawrence, and I'm almost positive
I'm gonna have
she
to look her
hosted
up
it.
'cause I'm not
God, I
familiar with her.
forgot all about it.
But I love the concept of that show, and it was always fun because they would have like celebrities on, and they would be like the leader of the two teams, you know, and it was always fun to see like people just like guessing poorly and drawing poorly and just like it's just frantic, you know? Yeah.
My turn.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I wasn't talking to the mic. Sorry. We're on number
5.
5. Name that tune.
That's a good one.
Always a favorite.
That's
of
a good
mine.
one.
I love music. I was always actually pretty good at Name That Tune.
I believe that.
Yeah, really good shit. There was an old, obviously the old class, and then they brought it back recently as well.
Jane Krakowski.
Yeah,
hosts
she
it.
hosts, and Randy Jackson is like the leader of the band. He plays a lot of the stuff on that, on the music on that. But yeah, I really like it just because I love music, and I think it's a fun concept. I can name that tune in one note.
Yeah.
Ooh, everybody's excited now.
Yeah, it's a great show.
I'm gonna need your guys' help to remember this one.
Okay.
I loved it as a kid. I watched it a lot, but I can't remember the name.
Okay.
So it was like there would be, the big TV screen covered up by puzzle pieces. And it was a trivia, so they would guess a trivia question right and got to remove a piece of this puzzle. And once the piece came off, there was a moving picture underneath.
I know what you're
and you had
talking
to
about.
guess what the picture was saying. And then trying to remove the pieces. I fucking love the shit out of that.
I don't know that one.
I know what you're
cannot
talking
remember.
about, but I don't know what that is.
I don't know that one.
Because I remember watching it. Was it a full game show or was it part of another show?
I think it was a full game.
It was
show.
a full game show. Okay. Because I was thinking they might have done something similar to that on like 3-2-1 Contact or something, where it was like this little mini, like a little segment. Name that GIF. I can name that GIF in.
Get the
one
picture.
copy. Maybe that is it. I really don't remember the name of it, but it's weird.
That's a Nickelodeon show, game show. So I doubt it. No, it's not. I don't remember what it was. It was an 80s game. It was an 80s one, though. Yeah, I can't.
I'm surprised I don't know this, but I cannot think of it.
I know what you're talking about, but I cannot remember the name. It's a cool concept for a show.
80s game show with picture puzzles. Oh, here it is. Tell me the load and tell me the name of it. Is it Concentration? Classic Concentration?
Maybe it's Concentration.
Yeah, because it had the 25 tickets.
Yeah, man,
shit.
that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, wow.
You would say it revealed the pit. You'd have to figure out what the riddle picture was behind it.
Okay.
God,
Classic Concentration.
fuck,
Good
man,
pull.
so good. All
Damn.
these fucking memories.
Yes. God, if you hadn't showed me that board, I would not have remembered it
Damn,
at all.
dude.
But I saw
Yeah.
that picture.
No,
I was
I
like,
love
oh,
it.
fuck yeah,
I
I
would
know
always watch
exactly.
that at my grandma's house. I fucking loved it.
My next.
10's the limit. I'm not going to 15.
All right, that's the limit. My next pick is American Gladiators.
Damn.
Dude, I was legitimately
Damn.
going to ask you if American Gladiators counted as a game show.
I was just gonna say it, and then if you guys said no, it's not a game show, I've got another one loaded, ready to go.
I think it absolutely counts.
But man, God, I
It's a
used to
great
love
show.
that fucking show, dude. And like, I
Y'all want to
remember,
watch this or Gladiators? Gladiators.
I remember watching that in the morning as a kid, and then like going to like train in the park for American Gladiators. Yeah, dude, that was my shit. Love that
Which
show.
evolved eventually
Is
into...
Diamond hot? I don't know.
I don't know how to feel
I mean,
about
yes, but also
Laser.
not my thing.
Yeah.
That evolved into American Ninja Warrior, I think, too. I think
I was
the
curious
same
if there was
type-
like a through line there.
It's not like a competition. It's a competition, but it's not like this group versus this group. It's just people taking turns running an obstacle course. But I think it has the same feeling. It has that same sort of...
It's like the localized Takahashi's Castle, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. So, anyway.
But I'm curious. Like, I don't know the history behind that. Like, I'm like, Gladiators was so big, right? I mean, like
was a
that
huge deal.
influenced like so
We
much.
watched it.
And I think it fell apart. Like, I'm not positive, but maybe you guys can help me. Maybe you know more about it. But I feel like Gladiators fell apart because it was managed very like the way that Vince McMahon like managed WWF,
that would not
where it's
surprise
like
me,
I own the rights to your characters, and like also you don't have your independent contractors, and like
Yeah.
Because I remember
You
like
get hit by a tennis ball. Sorry, I don't provide insurance.
Right.
That, takes out an eye.
because I think they were selling like gladiators, like action figures and stuff, and like
Yeah.
the gladiators were getting like none of that like
Royalty.
merchandising royalties or anything.
Ugh.
I loved it when the gladiators would take it so fucking personally when they would get beat.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
And you could tell which ones of them were acting
right.
and which ones were really actually fucking mad.
yeah. This makes me. I want to watch Running Man now.
Hey, Killian.
I want to watch Running Man and play Power Wash. I definitely won't be playing Power Wash. Like I'll be glued to that one.
Watching Running Man.
Yeah,
I've recently watched Running Man.
nice. I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
And the groundbreaking number 6.
Hollywood Squares.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fucking love Hollywood Squares.
Yes, I put that right there with Match Game. Yeah, they're like they live in the
Gilbert
same
Gottfried,
house.
yeah.
It's when you get
Center Square, Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Circle
For
takes the
me-
square.
For me, it was. You always
Yeah,
get.
it's the fucking rules. Sorry to interrupt you so many times. I'm just so happy we're doing this.
I'm totally used to it. You could almost see celebrities as real people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I could feel like I could probably be buddies with him.
I don't know who Bruce Valanche is, but yeah, he can play
Yeah. He just looks like so much fun.
He looks like a big puppy.
Tyler?
SNL has parodied it many times.
You already
I
did
lived as a kid.
Jeopardy.
I know you lived as a kid.
The rapist,
Supermarket
Alex.
sweep.
Nice. That was definitely
Damn
that
it.
was on my list.
Oh,
I waited
what a
too long.
Good show.
Yeah, man. Now I'll say, going back and watching it, I don't like it as much as I did when I was a kid. But fuck, man, back in the day, that was like top tier. It's like I'm gonna watch Supermarket Sweep with my mom, and I'm gonna play Super Mario Brothers 2.
Always
That's the order of how I'm gonna do shit today.
Big agenda. Big
Yeah.
agenda. I always thought the host of Supermarket Sweep was such a dork.
Yeah,
And
totally.
he's Supermarket Sweep, and he put his finger up like he was trying to get excited, and it's like, man, you don't have a lot of enthusiasm, but I like you. I think that's what they said to him when they cast him as the host. You don't have a lot of enthusiasm. I don't know what it is about you, but I think you've got the job, pal.
Dave, number 6.
I am gonna go with Scrabble.
Scrabble.
Man, I love that fucking
I don't know if I've
theme
really
song
seen
to
it.
Scrabble. Like that's the main reason I'm picking it is because Scrabble, and I think Chuck Woolery was the host of that one.
He was.
Yeah, man. Oh, we were big Chuck Woolery fans in my house.
Same.
Huge Chuck Woolery fans. 2 and 2, baby. 2 and 2.
God, I know, right? 2 and 2. I still say that.
Girl say. Yeah.
Most people don't get
Yeah.
it.
That's like I could say that to one of my parents right now, and there'll be a connection. It's like, Chuck Woolery.
Ah, family.
And number 7.
I too much sugar. My teeth feel weird. Remote control.
Damn you! Damn you! Damn it! Why did I say remote control? Fuck! I was thinking it. Damn it! I saved it. Fuck! God damn it! All right. Good choice. Good pick. What can I say? Good pick.
I fell in love with Kari Wurr on that.
That was a great show, man.
Great show.
And I'm not shitting you. When I was one turn ago, I was like, do I say Scrabble or remote control? And I was like, no one's going to say remote control. Nice.
Okay. Going back and watching it, it is so awful. But holy fuck, in the time, I loved it, and I would watch marathons. Like they'd marathon it like on a Sunday
I
after
think I
church.
know. I think I know.
MTV's Singled Out.
Singled Out.
Chris
Singled
Hardwick
out.
with Jenny McCarthy and then
Yep.
Carmen Electra.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is such a sexist, garbage, shitty show.
Yeah, we watched a
But
few episodes
fuck-
one night
fuck,
after we
I don't
recorded.
love it.
Yeah.
Going back.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, good TV's good TV. What are you going to do? I couldn't help what I like, y'all.
Yeah, I get it. Totally. 100%. In a similar vein, I believe it was a different network. I think this was Comedy Central. I'm going with Beat the Geeks.
Okay.
It's on my list.
Man,
it's on my list. I held out for it, but yeah, I love Beat the Geeks.
Oh man, that was a great show.
Whenever they'd have the special
the
geek,
guest geek,
the Simpsons geek, or
yes, man. Did you watch it?
I did not see this.
I think you would have dug it a lot because
Yeah?
they had the regular geeks. They had like a stable of geeks.
Oh,
And it's
really?
Music geek, yeah. Movie
geek,
TV, right?
TV, and then maybe the fourth one was a guest one.
I think that's how they did it.
Yeah,
and it might have
was-
changed
it
from
was
season
very-
to season, right?
It would be
Yeah.
a specific subgenre of one of those three or something like that.
Okay.
And the contestants would challenge a geek, like it would be Jeopardy style, kind of, where they're like the category would be music, kind of deal,
Okay.
and they'd challenge the geek, and they'd both be given the question.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool show.
Nice.
Man, this is a good draft. Fuck, I'm getting that.
It's
Yeah, I
happy.
feel
It's
good.
happy.
Yeah.
Get
Ian,
that
number
dopamine
8.
going.
Yes.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
That was
on my short list.
Yep. Same.
I love that show. God, it was so fucking fresh.
Dude,
that
it was,
show
and it was huge.
so good.
It was huge in the late 90s.
we didn't miss it.
No.
We watched it every single fucking night
Yeah.
that it was on, and I was sad when. Oh God, it was
It was so intense and like super
brilliantly
serious.
intense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a classic. Classic.
You having Beat the Geeks brought this up. I don't know if it qualifies as a game show. So
Okay.
tell me if it does or not. If it does, I'll pick something else. I've got something else. If you think it as a game show, because there are prizes, mostly in the form of honor, but the original Japanese Iron Chef.
Yeah, man. I was thinking Iron Chef earlier. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that
counts.
totally qualifies.
Yeah, yeah,
shit.
dude.
Holy shit. I loved Iron Chef is also what put me on my love for Chong's and working at Chong's and watching Iron Chef or what put me on that path. Like it held sway over it because I remember after doing my senior project where the cook taught me to cook at Chong's. I remember I had to do part of like a video for my senior project. So I had a white t-shirt to put on a marker and I had Iron Chef Chong's written on it. And then I made like all those dishes, added to the video. And then of course I made it for all my friends to practice before I did it in front of everybody at school.
That's awesome.
But man, holy fuck. Chin Kenichi, Iron Chef Chinese, Masahori Morimoto, Iron Chef Japan, and then Iron Chef French, Hiroyuki Sakai. Fuck. Oh my God. I love the original Iron Chef so much.
I'm glad you chose it. It was on my short list, but that was one where it was like, Tyler's gonna get this.
Yeah,
Like I feel like because like I didn't watch it a whole lot. I just know it was like it's like a phenomenon, you know.
My
And
favorite.
the new one just didn't have the same campy charm to it. I liked the new one too, but it just wasn't the same.
We watched it off and on. We didn't watch it religiously, but my favorite part of it was when he bites into the pepper at the beginning.
And looks like he doesn't really like it.
God, I just want that.
It's like, oh, that was a mistake. Play it off.
But he's like chewing it really, but he's like still nodding his head like, yes, I am very confident. I meant to do this. The chairman.
Dave, you're number 8.
I'm gonna go with Win Ben Stein's Money.
Fuck,
Holy
man.
shit!
That was
I
was
forgot
my
about that one.
That was my dark horse number 10. Was
Yeah.
Win Ben
God,
Money.
so good.
Man, that was such an entertaining show.
It really was.
And I remember being, because I was watching that in high school. I was in high school when that was out. And I remember like always wondering, like, how does this work? Is this real? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how does it work? And I think later I learned, let's put that in quotes because it's just something like I heard on a podcast.
Right,
so
right.
who the fuck knows? But it's like, Ben Stein would get that money at the end of the show if they didn't win it. So it's like, so he was like, because I've heard stories where it's like the crew being like, oh, he would be pissed if he didn't if somebody won the money because he literally did not get paid for his work that day.
And then Jimmy Kimmel's breakthrough role.
Yeah, man. Yep.
No, I love
Nuts.
that. So I've had that written down since we started. I was like, let me my dark horse. Let me my number 5. That'll be my number 10.
Yeah, I kept pushing it back. Yeah, man. But I watched. That was a great show. I used to watch it.
It was a great show. Core memory, man. I'd forgotten all about Win Ben Stein's Money, and I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that.
It lives in my head. I think about for whatever reason, I think about that show a lot, and I have no idea why.
It was good. That's why. Me?
Yep, number 9.
Weakest Link.
Mm-hmm.
This link's a good one.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. The new one's not so great, although I love Jane Lynch. I don't see her as being, I don't know, I just don't like it as much as the original. Because I can't remember the name of the woman that hosted it.
The redhead.
The redhead, the British woman. Occasionally she would crack up. Occasionally she would lose
Getting her
it.
to crack was like the crowning achievement for somebody.
And it was wonderful to see happen. But I liked the Weakest Link a lot. I thought that was an excellent crop of newish game shows that came out. So Weakest Link for me.
It's pretty niche and it's British. You said British. It jarred my memory. 8 out of 10 cats does Countdown.
Okay.
So Countdown over in England, that's a show where there's 2 components. The first one being they have like 8 spots for a word. And then whichever team it is will say 2 vowels, a consonant, another vowel, and they'll pull random letters out to fill the spots. And then both teams have 60 seconds to get the longest word out of that scramble. And then they have like a professional lexicon, and she also is working it while they do it. And then she has a giant dictionary where she can know all the words and everything. And then there's the other part of it is the math component, to where they'll hit how many digits and hit stop on randomly, and that number comes up, and then you have however many steps to get to that number. How exactly does it work? Because you'll have, you have to break down like between those numbers to get to that goal number, and then both teams have 60 seconds to try and mathematically use the basic add, subtraction, division, multiplication to try to hit that number as close to that number in 60 seconds.
That's difficult.
Then they have like a math prodigy who also happens to be hot, is like the host of that side of the show. And then she's working it alongside them to tell them, this is what you actually could have done to get to it.
My goodness.
Cool.
So,
all right.
but then 8 out of 10 Cats Who I Love, which is a
the
pop culture
show.
show. But then they have where that team will do Countdown. So
Okay.
yeah, 8 out of 10 Cats says Countdown. Fucking love the show of that.
Neat. Dave.
This might not count, but Billy on the Street.
Yeah, there are prizes. That's brilliant, man.
I love that
Billy on
fucking
the Street
show,
is so
man.
fucking great.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Oh, it's Billy Eichner, and he just accosts people on the street and asks them questions, and it's essentially like for like $1 and like stuff like
For
that.
$1, would you fuck Paul Rudd?
Right.
And Paul Rudd is like behind them.
Okay, I have seen that. Yes. No, God, why would I ever? Who would want to fuck Paul Rudd?
Thanks.
Be like, thanks.
Right.
That's fucking hilarious.
Ian, number 10.
Fabled number 10, huh? Deal or No Deal.
Yep.
I loved that one. Very suspenseful. That's one I will talk to the TV about.
I'm glad you chose it.
Don't you pick that. Don't you walk away. You take that deal.
Yep.
Great show.
Yeah, it would have been a shame if that wasn't on one of our lists.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm glad you got it.
Excellent, fresh. Again, it came in that crop of NBC game shows. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, followed by Weakest Link, and then Deal or No Deal. They had sort of this really good crop of game shows that sort of piped out of there for a while, and all three of those were great. But I did really very much like Deal or No Deal.
Yep.
And I thought Howie was great as the host.
That's my favorite thing that he is in.
Kind of
Yeah.
brought him back.
Deal or No Deal.
And we watch America's Got Talent, and he's on that, but he's kind of gotten a little bit crotchety in his old age. So yeah, definitely a great show.
Mine. So it's not the original. It's my favorite iteration, and they do win experiences and shit like that. So tell me if you think it counts or not as a game show, because there are contestants who are vying against each other. So I'm gonna say I Love New York on VH1. So Flavor of Love is the original.
Yeah. It's weird, right? Because it gets into like, what's a game show? What's a reality
Is
show?
the Bachelorette?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's the new the new version of
Yeah,
game shows, even though the old version still exists.
It's a spin on a game show, only it involves adult
It's a competition.
themes and it is a competition.
But
Because
if that's close enough, too close, then I'll say Nick.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean,
okay. I mean, I wouldn't say that's any less a game show than, say, like Survivor. I think Survivor should.
I
count
thought
as a
I was
game
curious
show.
you were gonna go Fear Factor,
Or Fear Factor. I
Yeah.
forgot about Fear Factor. Yeah.
which I don't know. It's weird because I would consider
Because like Jersey Shore, that is a reality show, but there's not a a victory.
not a
component.
right, not a competition.
Yeah.
What's weird about it to me is that I haven't watched the show, but I'm assuming it's the same cast. Or is it different every episode?
In Olive, New York.
Uh-huh.
So you have like it'll start off with 10 contestants trying to date New York, and then basically every episode they eliminate one of them.
Okay, so it's like Survivor kind of.
So the winner gets some sort of a prize or a date
Gotcha.
with New York, or they get to go to New York.
They get
for
to
a
eat that
weekend.
pussy,
They get
and
to-
right. So like, okay, that's what I think it's good, but I feel like that's where it breaks down. It's no longer a game show to me when it's a prolonged, like long season thing. Because in my like definition of it, a game show is like every episode is independent of a previous episode, unless it's like Jeopardy style, where
Winner
it's like,
comes back.
yeah, the
Yeah.
winner comes back. But that's
It's like that
interesting.
because all 9 of the winners come back.
Right? that is true.
So I'll split that with Nick Arcade just to balance the scales, because I love Nick Arcade. That's a rough one going back to.
Yeah.
You realize those kids are lame. The host is lame.
Right.
But it's also a
It was such a cool idea at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's like going back and watching stuff like that. It's like, man, they knew that video games were a thing and they were going to remain a thing and that kids fucking loved them. They just
Old
didn't.
suits that didn't.
They just didn't know. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they just didn't know exactly what to do with it. It felt like.
Yep.
And it's like,
What if we design our own games in the middle? That's whatever.
right,
okay.
right,
Whatever.
yeah.
Why don't we go to on the other side of the actual arcade games?
right. Yeah, that was always the best part.
And watch a kid play 30 seconds of ActRaiser and die.
Right. And then like the blue screen, green screen stuff at the end. Are you familiar with Nick Arcadian?
That is
Okay,
the
yes.
Shrine of the
okay.
Silver Monkey cranked up to
Yeah.
the next level.
Well, it's like I can't imagine being one of those kids because it's like, oh, I've never been a weatherman before, and I gotta like swat birds out of the sky.
Yep.
Like,
the bird, it's right there. You're right. Just waving their arm right
Yeah.
beside
Those-
it. Get the gem.
poor bastards.
But it was always the same villain. I can think one of every 10 episodes would be a different one of the 3 villains you could find.
can't remember the
It was always the
villains.
green gladiator looking guy.
Oh, yeah.
There was a red wizard and a blue sorceress or something.
G.I. Jogger.
Steel Runner, G.I. Jogger, Cadillac.
Oh fuck, man. Yes, I remember Mikey.
Yeah. I fucking hate it. Like, what? Is this an actual game you can play somewhere? Postal and Mikey, yeah.
Oh god.
Dave, we need a 10. Number 10. 10 10 10. Give me the 10.
So, do I go with a tried and true classic that belongs in the draft, but I don't personally like that much? Or do I go with something that I actually like? We cannot end this without mentioning Let's Make a Deal. Like
Holy shit.
That has to be that has to
God,
be
I can't believe I didn't
in the
think
draft.
of it.
Yeah.
I never really liked it that much.
I loved it.
Because, and I know a
would've
lot of
put it
people
there,
do.
yeah.
I think it's because I got the taste of The Price is Right first.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I remember seeing that first and then going back and like watching Let's Make a Deal. And it's like, this feels like the off-brand Price is
It's
Right
mean
to me.
Price is Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's a
Yeah.
donkey.
Get out of my swamp.
My first band, the Playful Eight, I wrote a song called Monty Make Me a Deal.
Nice.
Based on Let's Make a Deal because I love that show. So I wrote a song about it. I love it so much.
Fuck
and
yeah.
I fucking forgot about it.
There's so many good ones.
I have a short list of honorable mentions if I could
dude.
run through them.
Absolutely.
I was reminded of Cash Cab.
That was on my short list as well.
Man,
That was
yes.
on my short list too.
Man, Nikki and I love the shit out of Cash Cab.
Password / super password.
Password was also on
Password.
my short list.
That's like pyramid adjacent. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's more. Yeah, it is.
Because
You just say one word,
Right.
And you don't. The thing I think with pyramid was you could sort of give clues, just not say. There were certain flags you couldn't, that would cause you to fail. But with
like
password, you
9/11's
get
a lie.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You get one word.
Yeah.
The password is
Right. How about porno password?
hippopotamus. Yeah. But that was on 4 Christmases. They played porno password. I want to say.
4 Christmases.
Yeah, it has Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, okay.
It's a good movie. Check it out.
I've seen it.
Was
Yeah, it is good.
I think they play porno password.
Was it in Cable Guy as well? Is that where I'm thinking of?
Oh no, I think you're. Is it? It is Cable Guy.
I feel like it's a Jim Carrey movie.
It
I've
is
never
Cable
actually
Guy.
seen
That's
Cable
what I was
Guy.
thinking
Oh, yeah.
of. They go to. He shows up at the family
right,
dinner
right,
and they play porno.
right.
And they're acting like all mad because Matthew Broderick's getting fucking triggered. They're like, "Oh, lighten up."
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. It was Cable Guy.
I haven't
Thank
seen
you.
that one in a long time.
Survivor. I did add that to my list when I said earlier. And then last but not least on my list, the 80s version of Nick Arcade, Laser Time. Do you know this show?
I don't.
It was a game
I
show.
really don't
Podcast
because
network.
Twitch. There are some Twitch channels
Yeah.
that'll play it. Yeah.
It's just a game show that this clueless host would have these kids on, and they would play legit arcade games for prizes. And
That sounds better than Nick Arcade.
it was better than Nick Arcade, but it was great because like that was my Twitch. Anytime I got the chance to watch that show, I would because it was cool to. It was just like standing. The original Twitch is going to the arcade and standing behind someone that's playing a game and being really good at it. And then they took that
in a
to
hot
the-
tub.
Yeah, in a hot tub. And then they took that to this show, Laser Time, and then it sort of went to Nick Arcade, and now we're watching people play games on Twitch. I loved it. Great show.
Cool.
Terrible prizes. It's like really, you could tell the game wasn't terribly well funded.
Sure.
And the kids were legitimate, like real kids that fucking lived across the street from the studio, kind of. I mean, it was just
Gotcha.
like normal. They never had any personality. They were always terrified because they were on TV. It was rare that you saw any of them have any energy. And most of them were bad. And it sucked because, like, you get one game. And when you die,
They probably
done.
didn't want anybody good
No, they
because
wanted
it's like
to-
fuck. How long is this Pac-Man gonna go on?
but in the
Is he
in
gonna
the-
fucking kill screen?
in the
Kill screen in 20
event-
minutes.
in the event that someone did do well,
Yeah.
then the audience would get fired up and be cheering them on, and it was just a really neat show.
Cool.
So check out. Yeah, there's clips of it everywhere. There's a whole YouTube channel of Laser Time clips, and I recommend you check it out because it's really dated, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check it out.
I had Guts. We'd mention
Guts,
Guts
yeah.
briefly.
Yep.
Did someone say Double Dare?
I mentioned Double Dare. Out of the Double Dares, Family Double Dare was always my favorite.
We liked Double Dare a lot. That was a lot around when Gage was little, and we watched it a lot with him.
You get-
What Would You Do is another one I love.
Oh, yes.
What would you do?
What would you
I guess
do?
I guess Bozo would count. Remember the Bozo, the clown
The Bozo show.
where they
The
throw
ping pong ball
the ping balls in the
buckets.
buckets.
I used to practice
Sir,
that.
that is called the grand prize game.
Yeah.
I watched
And
the
the
clip
grand
on
prize
YouTube
was
where the kids are like
always-
missing the second
Yeah.
bucket and shit. shit.
Brandon of
Bozo was-
Axelay fame says that his mom was in the grand prize. game.
Really?
Yeah. Can't find the tape. Because I was like, I gotta see that tape, man.
Well, I watched that show every morning before I go to school, and I managed to get to the grand prize game right before I had to leave, like walking out the
That's
door.
the reason to watch it.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, and Bozo was so fucking cool with these kids. I mean, I swear to God, yeah, some of them they'd get like this little 2-year-old to come up and play the game.
Right,
And he'd
right.
just fire that goddamn ball. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And then Bozo would drop one in for him.
Right.
Yeah.
If they would miss like on the first or the second cup, it'd be like, we could do that again. We could give him another shot.
Yeah.
It was
Here's
always
your kazoo.
yeah, he was always really cool about it. So yeah, grand prize game.
That was awesome. Mhm.
Awesome stuff. The grand prize was always a bike.
I
And
said
the
I never
bike-
saw anybody make it past like bucket 4.
It rarely happened, but it did happen, and it was a bicycle, brand new bike, and super good shit. Oh man, I've got a lot of. I'm with you, Dave. I got all the feel good dopamine running through me right now.
I could have done 15.
talking about this.
I could have done 15, man.
I am super glad I thought of that one because
It was great.
Yeah,
that
it was
was
really good.
fun. That was a lot of fucking
Love
fun.
Connection.
Hell,
God, I forgot
yes.
about
God, man. God, I love that fucking show so much as a kid. And like,
Same.
that's one that I would watch. I remember watching that with
Yeah.
my parents because they fucking loved that one too.
Dating game.
The dating game.
It's a good
Dating
one.
game with
Yeah.
the serial killer on it, that one
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
And John Hamm on one episode.
You already said serial killer.
What was Richard Ramirez? Was he the one that was on?
No, I just heard this.
Because I went back and watched it. He's fucking creepy as shit.
I don't think it was Ramirez. I want to say it was Bundy.
It wasn't Bundy because I remember the,
Well,
I
that's
remember the look
true.
of him.
Have you seen the episode of Dating Game with Andy Kaufman?
No.
Oh, so good.
yes.
God,
I-
it's
I
so
do
good.
remember that.
Because it's like, and he fucking plays it up so well too. Because they've got like these two fucking Chads and Andy Kaufman, and he's given the weirdest fucking like Lotka style answers to good questions. And then like it comes like at the end where the contestants come out and they show the ones that they didn't pick. He stands and talks to her for like an ungodly uncomfortable amount of time. It's like, why didn't you pick me? I don't understand. And like nobody knows what the fuck to do.
I think it was Rodney Alcala.
Yep. Okay.
That was on
yeah.
the-
Who did he kill?
A bunch of young teenage girls where he would pretend to be a like modeling photographer.
Oh,
And get them
gross.
back
Yeah.
to his studio, take their pictures, and kill them.
Gross.
Real super gross. All right. Are we ready for
I guess we could talk about game shows a little bit more if you guys want
Oops,
to.
all game shows.
Yeah. We should probably move on to Hook.
Okay.
Hook.
Let's take a little break and we'll be right back with Hook for the Super Nintendo.
Finders Keepers. You guys remember that one?
Yeah, I forgot about Finders Keepers, man.
I don't remember that one.
I think it was one of the first Nickelodeon game shows. It was where they had this like house, this mansion, and it was bisected so you could see into the rooms.
Yeah.
And like the kids had to like find things in the house, and they could win like JVC boom boxes.
The JVC Kaboom Box. Yeah.
I think that's the show.
That will randomly pop into my head. Just from
Yeah,
time to
dude.
time.
Absolutely.
Anytime I see JVC, I'm like, Kaboom Box.
Yep. That's good fucking branding.
All right, for real.
Okay.
Back in a minute with Hook.
We back.
Hook.
Ren Hook.
Hook.
Which originally was what?
guess 40th episode.
It was very early on. I mean, between like 40 and 70, like it was.
It's been obliterated, so I can't.
Obliterated. It was before we finished IGN's list. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So, old episode. So gone to the wayside. Doing it again.
The right way.
The right way. You're right with Ian.
Yep.
So if you were to box art. Box art. We're thinking of the hook. Box art.
Before we do that, I do want to get into something because. In the first segment, I usually talk about things I've recently watched.
Right.
And
you mentioned Hook.
We mentioned Hook.
Uh-huh.
And, I did a list for Hook. While we were watching it last night.
A goodie bag?
A goodie bag.
Oh, okay.
I toyed with the idea of changing my rating system. I have received feedback.
Toys is a different Robin Williams movie.
I didn't say toys. I said toyed.
Okay.
I toyed with the idea of changing my rating system.
Toys is also a Super Nintendo game we'll get to.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
And I don't want to watch that movie.
Oh, boy. Oh, shit. Me neither.
I hated that movie
Same.
so
Guess what?
much.
Game's not good.
No shit. No shit.
I don't know if that's a surprise or not, but...
Weird. I toyed with the idea of messing with my rating system last week. As we all know, I've received some feedback.
Oh.
We're going to stick with Wiz and Sage Says Check It Out.
Okay. Great. Phew.
But I do have a goodie bag for Hook, if you guys would like to hear it.
Of course.
Should I call it a goodie bag or a blind bag?
I like goodie bag.
Goodie bag.
Hooky bag.
Hooky bag. Okay. And you don't have to wait until the end of the show or the end of the list to comment. It's fine if you'd like to say stuff as I go through the list.
All right.
Whatever you think.
Okay.
Hook. Goodie bag. The movie Hook may contain one or more of the following. Knock off American Psycho Hall Walk. Knock off Pirates of the Caribbean. I do also realize...
I mean, they knocked off Hook.
I know. A lot of what I'm going to say is knockoff is not... This predates the stuff I'm going to say in some cases, but I still say knockoff because probably most people are going to see the newer one as the... Anyway. So knock off Pirates of the Caribbean. Knock off Old Woman from Titanic / Professor McGonagall. Knock off Little Mermaid. David Crosby, pirate. Bob Hoskins, pirate. Dustin Hoffman, pirate. Phil Collins, constable. Candy Apple, Arrow, Nutshot. Lost Boys, half pipe skating. Earwax-based mustache grooming. Julia Roberts, Pretty Woman, outburst, laughter, trope / easy teaser trailer fodder. Crocodile-based PTSD. Clock-based psychosis. Take Me Out to the Ball Game song played on a calliope, baseball game murder, kidnap victim grooming, pixie friend zoning, a search box featuring the NutraSweet label, chicken egg cannon bukkake, candy apple, catapult bukkake, and four-way paint gun bukkake. And a notable out-of-context quote from Dustin Hoffman as Hook, who says to a 10-year-old, "I'm huge."
Yeah. Yep.
3 stars. Wiz and Sage says, check it out. I liked it okay.
Do you
I had
know?
fun watching it.
I love that you listed those cameos. Do you know who it was who played the pirate that was put into the boo box?
Oh, no.
Do you know?
No.
I didn't go. I read this on IMDb. I have not gone back to see if it is true. Glenn Close.
Oh, yes. That's funny that you mentioned. I was looking at the IMDb and I saw Glenn Close in the list. I'm like, where the fuck was she?
Yep, they put a beard on. She's wearing a beard and she gets put in the boo box.
All right. Yeah. So that's my goodie bag for Hook.
Great.
Week.
I love it.
Dave and I had a good time watching that last night.
Yep.
Next up, maybe Running Man. We'll see.
Dude, this movie meant a lot to me as a kid. First movie I ever saw in the theater. Loved it so much. I had a little Peter Pan kick for a minute. Hence why my parents bought it for me I think the second or third SNES game I ever owned was Hook.
Question. Did your hockey phase ever cross over in with the Peter Pan phase?
I think 2 distinct phases.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no overlap.
No
I
overlap.
don't think I had any
Okay.
overlap.
All right.
Yeah, because I remember, I think my Hook phase was 3rd grade,
I love that you had.
and
a
then
hook
my
phase.
hockey phase was 4th grade.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
Both excellent things to have phases of, I think.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I thought this movie was just the fucking best when I was a kid. I still enjoyed it. Still have very fond memories of it. And the game, too, because I remember Mario at Super Mario World, F-Zero, and Hook. That was what I had to open the Christmas, first Christmas with the Super Nintendo.
Heck yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Heck
Before Castlevania Eggs.
Before Castlevania Eggs. Yep,
Eggs.
that was I feel like that was a birthday. It was a birthday present. Castlevania Eggs.
So,
I like Hook. I have really fond memories of Hook. Liked it a lot. Still like it. It was rough. It was rougher. It was rougher watching it this time.
I can see why.
Because I remember we're like an hour and a half through the movie, and I'm like, this is about done, right?
Nope.
Oh, we have an hour and 10 more minutes to go. This is
It
such
was
a
too
long
long.
movie.
Wow.
It was
It's like
too
two
long.
and two,
Two-
and a half
Almost
hours.
2.5 hours long, this one. And it was unusually long for the time.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't get a lot of 2.5 hour movies in the early 90s, or late 80s, early 90s. They were get them in the seats, get them out, get more people in the seats.
The original cut was 3 hours.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I have a
they cut
theory.
it down to 2.5.
I have a theory as we move into the next couple of phases as to what the missing 30 minutes might be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, you're not wrong. I could see how it wouldn't hold up
A Rufio
well.
rap.
I'm hoping it's a hot scene with these mermaids.
Well, that's in my head, but no. The
Remember those 3 mermaids blew Robin Williams in a kids movie?
it was like
They laid
Ghostbusters
eggs and then
style.
jerked him off under the water onto the eggs.
it's okay. One of them laid eggs. The other was mouth stuff. The other was butt stuff.
It was Ghostbusters style.
Yeah.
Whoa. But I'm married. I have issues.
Let's talk about them.
Let's do.
I want to talk about the issues. Are we talking
They'll come up. They'll come up.
Oh, okay. We're doing this. We got a structure to it.
No, I mean I won't say it. I'm saying I just generally I have issues thinking about mermaids and stuff.
Oh, okay. I
No,
thought you were going to talk about like the
Well, I mean I have.
kissing a 13-year-old when she's sleeping.
We talked a little bit about this last night. I do have actual issues with the movie. That it's one of those things that's kind of like with Revenge of the Nerds and how fucking rapey that shit was, and you didn't think
Oh my
about
God,
it
not at the
until
time, but holy,
Right.
going back on it,
Going-
it's just
Yeah, it's fucking-
mind blowing.
Yeah.
I mentioned that on the show probably a few years ago when I was here as a guest.
yeah.
Just as
I remember that.
we watched Revenge of the Nerds because I remember that was one of my favorite fucking movies.
Yeah.
Not long. I mean, a few years ago, we watched it again, and I thought to my, holy fuck, he's fucking assaulting her. He's
Yep.
raping her.
Yep.
And that's I can't get that out of my head. But it's not as bad.
No, it's
in
not.
Hook
It's
by
just a
any
little
stretch
creepy.
of the imagination. At one point,
You could say Hook is Robin Williams for Revenge of the
It's a
Nerds.
little creepy that Peter Pan's like, who's that?
he comes in.
My granddaughter.
Yeah, he comes into
I'm gonna
Wendy's
kiss her.
room. It's like I'm gonna give her a kiss, and I thought he said that, and then I was like, because he
Right?
I'm telling Dave, I'm like, I said, oh, then he goes, I'm gonna give her a thimble.
Right. He pulls out the thimble.
And I said, oh, okay. I thought he said, I'm going to give her a kiss. And Dave's like, he did say that. Yeah. I'm like, wait, she's asleep. That's her grandmother. What are you doing? He goes over, sits down on her bed, and grandma's just standing there. Yep, that's old Peter for you.
Grandma in the cuck chair.
He's fucking 100. He's 100
That's
years
a band
old.
name. Grandma in the cook chair versus the world.
He's like 100 years old. It doesn't matter that he's a boy. He's a 100-year-old boy, and so he's just. And then he ends up getting married to her.
lot of weird stuff at
That's
play.
okay. They got married, right? It's okay then.
The other
In
weird
Tennessee,
thing,
it is.
the other weird thing, and I think the more I thought about this today, the more I was like, because when we were watching the movie, I was like, well, how did Hook get into the real world, London, and get the kids? And I'm like, why wouldn't he have done that before? Before now? Like, why? What's the deal? And then I was like, did Tinkerbell set all this shit up because she wanted to get with Peter?
Yes, dude, listen to me.
And it's like, so she orchestrated all this shit because
I think she was the fucking mastermind here, like Jar Jar in
the Sith
fucking
Lord.
Sith Lord, Jar Jar. And I'm going to tell you something. The other thing that kind of bothered me was the fact that in this movie, Tinkerbell was a fucking Pontiac Grand Am away from being a dangerous stalker. Like, she's already probably a dental hygienist, and then she's just got to get her Grand Am, and she's going to fucking stalk this guy for the rest of his life. It was creepy. Tinkerbell creeps me out. Just the whole thing. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut in. What you were saying.
No, that reinforces it. Because, I mean, she, essentially...
She's a fae. She's of the Feywild.
Yeah.
This is true. I mean, it does. It tracks.
Because, I mean,
They're very jealous, very possessive. I get it.
She tries to woo Peter, and it was the timing of it is really super weird too, and it's like he almost goes for it, and then he's like, oh, Mora,
not married to Mora, I can't.
Yeah,
again with this, and the thing is, we were noting the other thing. One thing I noticed throughout the whole fucking movies, there's no fucking way Julia Roberts was anywhere near the filming of this movie while everybody else was there. You could tell that her scenes were just like phoned in or shot in a remote location because, it would cut to her sitting on her clock and she would just laughing at the Lost Boys, and then it would cut back away.
Salacious Crumb style.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she so she hated that. That is how it was done.
Okay. Well, it showed.
And she hated it, and she was very disagreeable on set to the point where they started calling her Tinker Hell.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Well, and she has one scene with Robin Williams, which I'm assuming was an actual scene.
Let's hope not. That'd be funny. We're just going to splice this together.
Lay there in your dress. Just hold your picture.
So, yeah, there was a lot of that. It felt very spliced together. There was just a lot of things that were apparent to me now that probably if I were a kid, had seen it when I was a kid or whatever, it would have been more magical, more...
Yeah, for sure.
It was obviously... I was not the target demographic for this movie.
Right. I loved this as a kid. Yeah. I was 10 when it came out. I loved it. I thought it was great. I
think that's one of the reasons I missed out too, is because I was pushing 18.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it just wasn't in my wheelhouse at the time.
And I was surprised that you hadn't seen it. I know we mentioned this earlier. I can't remember if it was on mics or off, but you've seen all the movies. And this is a Steven Spielberg movie. And that's why that was really surprising.
Yeah. Usually his stuff, big name stuff like that has at least hit my radar at least once. I've seen most everything at least once. But yeah, this one just somehow I managed to dodge it. But I'm glad I did watch it, and especially glad that I watched it with you, Dave, because
it was fun.
I kept asking questions, and Dave would be like, do you want me to tell you? Or I'm like, oh, shit, it's important to the story. Never mind, because I had grown up into a pirate and forgotten all about it.
I'm glad we watched it.
You lost your marbles. We had to find them again.
I did. I got my marbles back last night.
I'm glad we watched it together specifically because I will never forget there is a scene, I guess, when Hook is defeated and he lets out this I thought Ian made that sound. And then so I laughed, and then Ian, you said something like, I can't believe that's the sound that he made. And I was like, that wasn't you?
What I said was, did that sound ridiculously overdubbed to you? And he was like, wait, I thought that was you that did that. I'm like, no, that was on the movie. So, yeah, you could tell that they had, they caught Dustin Hoffman walking out of the studio for the day. Dustin, we just need a soundbite for the end scene, just real quick. Just come on over here. We got the mic set up. He's like, fuck. All right, that's all you're getting. I'm fucking leaving. I told you. I've got to be somewhere.
I loved him as Hook.
He was great.
I love Dustin Hoffman as Hook. I thought he did a really, really good job.
He was the best part of that movie.
Absolutely.
Which is why they called it Hook.
Yeah.
I thought Robin Williams' performance was fucking horrible. I thought it was
Really?
lackluster and boring, and I think that they spent the first 3/4 of the movie with him reminding the audience that he's a bad father that's lost his way, and he used to be... Get to the... It was too long.
Yeah.
And in that regard, they just kept beating and beating it and beating it to death. And when he finally... realizes, yes, I am, and I can fly, and my happy thoughts, and all this kind of stuff. It's too late. They lost me at that point, and it goes on. And I felt like the action at the end was a little less impactful to me because I felt like they had wasted so much time reminding the audience of this same theme over and over again. But I don't know if I've ever said this before. I am not the biggest fan of Robin Williams. I've never cared for him that much. Been a couple of movies that he's been in that I've really loved. I loved Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
That was my introduction, just like everyone else, to Robin Williams, at least back when from my generation.
Right, your generation, yeah.
And
Genie for me, Aladdin.
right. And then there's the Genie in Aladdin, which he was fucking phenomenal in. That's easily his best work, in my opinion.
He's great.
And then Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
I loved Mrs. Doubtfire. I love him in it. I love the cast. I love everything about that
And Dustin
movie.
Hoffman is Tootsie.
That's right.
Worlds colliding.
Worlds colliding. But after that, I'm just not a fan. And so Tanya and I were talking about this earlier today, and it's truly tragic that he took his own life. And I didn't have anything against the guy. He wasn't
was so
my
little with Lewy body dementia. Like,
yes,
I
and
don't
he,
even know how
exactly.
he functioned, how he was.
And he wasn't my type of comedian, and his shtick was I know how much of a genius he was and how smart he was. And it was absolutely a tragedy when he took his own life. But at the same time, Tanya mentioned something to me today about him because she kind of feels the same way. And she's like, I don't know what it was. She said, I feel like every time I saw him, there was something behind his eyes. Like there was just something going on in his head that he was pushing back. That wasn't his, he was suffering silently. Mm-hmm. And again, that's tragic, and I feel the same way. It's just as far as his body of work goes, I just wasn't a huge fan. And so it didn't help for me that he was in that role. I don't know who would have been a better choice. I'm not saying he was a bad choice. I think there was some writing and
Tom Hanks
issues.
was a potential.
I could have seen Tom Hanks in that role very easily.
They shaved Robin Williams' top half for this movie.
I believe it.
It took 6 hours every day.
Maybe, but they did shave him.
person. That man had a lot of hair.
And spoilers, because as a kid, God, I was devastated.
Oh,
Rufio.
yeah.
Rufio. We would play, I think I told this in the last time we recorded this, that we all loved it as a kid. My whole class, we would play Hook on the playground, and I would be Rufio, and I died every single day at recess.
Yeah,
Like at the dinner show.
He killed Zuko. It's very sad.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Rufio's great. I think Bob Hoskins. I know you mentioned Bob Hoskins. He's
Classic.
great. There's a little story about him and Dustin Hoffman when they were like going over the script and when they had started production. They were both allegedly both at the same time. They were like, "Oh, these men are gay." And then that's how they decided to play their
Oh.
They were a
characters.
couple.
They're playing them as a couple because they're two really good friends who live on a boat and share cabin quarters, and so they decided to play it up. I mean, they didn't it wasn't overt or anything.
Yeah, and
but
they're
that
clearly,
was their that was their motivation.
And they're clearly into one another.
Right.
Sharing feelings and the earwax mustache grooming that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Don't stop me, Smee. Don't
Oh,
stop
God.
me. Don't stop me. Stop me, Smee.
I'm going to commit suicide, Smee.
Smee, I'm going to commit suicide. Smee, I'm going to commit suicide. It was a really funny scene.
Yeah.
I told you when we were watching, I thought it glitched.
I know
Because he
said
did
it the same thing
2 or 3 times in a row. I'm like, is this? I was like, is he? Is it the film or is it the fucking problem with the movie we're watching?
Last podcast, I listened to their last pirate series where they talk about like women never being allowed.
Right.
If a woman gets on a boat, you kill the woman and the man who smuggled her on.
They believed that women were truly bad luck
Yeah.
on boats.
And blowing each other, totally fine. Anal is gay, and they'll kill you for that.
Right.
David Bowie was originally approached to play Captain Hook. And to me, that's a very different movie.
It is
It's
very
because of the
different
Goblin
movie.
King, has to be.
Absolutely.
But
'cause
that would have been like, man, I can't imagine this movie truly
reality where
without
it's
Dustin
Tom
Hoffman
Hanks and
David Bowie.
man, that's weird. But it
And David
but
DeVito was Smee.
yeah,
He was potentially one. I can't remember who else it was. It was Danny DeVito, and somebody else potentially is me.
I could have seen
Rhea
it.
Perlman.
Yeah. No, she was a lost boy.
She was a lost boy.
She was Rufio.
Lucky. Who's got hooky?
I could see it. It would be a different movie. You're right.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah, absolutely. Dustin Hoffman is like, I don't know,
Yeah.
key to this. I think more so than Robin Williams.
Yeah.
I absolutely think
Yeah.
that this was a good Dustin Hoffman film.
And I liked all the scenes with him in it. I thought were like really entertaining. And I like the characterization of him, and like that whole like him and Smee together is like fucking perfect because Smee comes up with the idea to like turn Jack, and then Hook's like, yeah, this is a great idea that I
just had. Yeah, it's never a good idea until it's someone else, until it's my
We'll
idea.
adopt a child, lover. Perfect.
right. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, let's move
Run
on.
home, Jack. What? Home run, Jack. Oh, okay.
Let's move on to game talk.
All right. Box art.
Says Hook on the box.
Yep.
In the same font as the
Says
movie.
it right there. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Got all the bullet points. It conveys what it is.
I
It's a
mean,
game about
it
Peter
is a
Pan.
movie, and its own
Yeah.
movie.
Right.
So, what about a Nick Cage movie?
Well, I actually went a little bit different on this one. I did pick a movie other than Hook that it reminds me of, The Goonies. And I picked it because The Goonies was written by Steven Spielberg. We talked about this last night, Dave, and directed by Richard Donner. But it was an Amblin joint, so to speak. So it was a very Steven Spielberg movie. But I'd go so far as to say that Hook this is the missing 30 minutes, is the prequel to Goonies, where I envision Hook in the battle with Peter Pan loses an eye and a leg. And then he decides, fuck this, I'm gone. He gets on the ship and sails away from Neverland and breaches the barrier into our world with his pirate ship.
We know that he can do it.
We know
because he kidnapped the kids.
Right.
This
time he is in the northeastern United States, sails his ship into a cave, which closes up, and they all die. And that is the ship that the Goonies find at the end.
I like it.
Of the movie. So I think that it would have, and adding that scene would have made it a nice round 3 hours.
Yep. Yes, it would.
And as far as the Nick Cage movie I picked, I also picked The Goonies because I heard a rumor that he played the corpse of One-Eyed Willie. That's not true. I just didn't come up with it.
Man, I was like, tell me more. Holy shit, I've never heard this one.
Made it up. Didn't. I'm tired of picking Nick Cage.
You heard it
movies.
here first.
So I'm gonna make shit up now about Nick Cage as we go forward until we change that.
Should we change?
We should
Are we
change.
ready to move
One of
on
us
from
are
Nick
done. We
Cage?
should
Well, no,
change
I don't want
another
to take it away from you guys, but I mean, I feel like we've
I'm
covered
good.
the Nick Cage thing.
Yeah, I'm good to move it if we want to. I do have a Nick Cage movie for this game, however.
Okay.
I've got Fast Times at Ridgemont High
Ooh.
for a few different reasons.
I know where you're going with this, and I like the cut of your jib, if you know what I mean.
A few different reasons. The first being this was his first movie, so he's 17 years old. He's young. He's a boy.
Yes.
Much like the young boys, the Lost Boys
Yes.
of Neverland. Also, he was vying for the leading role in Fast Times. and Judge Reinhold got it, and he got it due to reverse nepotism. Or so the story goes.
I know these things. I've heard these same things.
No, I'd learned it today. This is stuff I absolutely
Fast Times is
expected
one of my
you
all-time
You
favorite
got it
movies,
because Nick Cage was a Coppola. They picked.
He was not the star because he was
because
Coppola.
of who he is.
Oh, okay.
They didn't want to be have nepotism happening,
right?
So they went, and I think Judge Reinhold was the right choice.
I agree. Yeah, I think Judge Reinhold's great in
that
it.
fucking movie.
And it would have been an even better fit if Nick Cage had Judge Reinhold's role, because Judge Reinhold works at a fish shop called Captain Hook's Fish.
And dresses
wears a pirate
as a pirate.
outfit.
They
Yep.
make him wear the pirate costume to do a delivery.
Right.
And
Show some pride.
He pulls up next to a car full of girls and he's flirting with them. He forgets he has the thing on and they're fucking laughing at him. And he's like, God. And he throws the hat out.
And then
Great pick.
Thank you. It's my regular movie or celebrity. I chose Dick Clark. I know he was mentioned earlier in our game show segment, but being the America's oldest teenager, I thought that was appropriate.
What does Hook say in the movie whenever, like, does Peter knock his wig off and he says,
Let me have my dignity.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Open wide for Chunky. We all remember that classic Hook line. Yeah.
I went back to another Nick Cage and chose The Family Man, since that is also about a man who chose a different path, got old, set in his ways, and then got to go back and be younger again and see what would have been different.
That's a good analogy there, for sure.
Good things and bad things.
Well, I mean, let's get the really great graphics and unbelievable music out of the way first.
100%.
Yeah, this is a beautiful Super Nintendo game.
It really is. I love the character sprites. I love the animations. I love the fact that you can tell who everyone is.
Yep.
It looks very JRPG.
It does.
You know, it's got that.
It's bright. It's
so bright,
It's
but it's not annoyingly bright. It's
It's fantastically appropriate.
It's perfect.
Yep.
The color palettes are all spot fucking on. They nailed it. And I got to tell you, the music on the ice level, I was grooving to that shit. That was actually a really cool song.
I think the music in this game is fantastic.
The whole game is full of good music because they and I think I did watch the SNES drunk that you sent, and he mentions that they do an unbelievably good job of translating the music from the movie into the game. But the
I
stuff
never would have known, honestly, like, because the score in the movie I felt like was very forgettable. And I know it was John Williams,
was
so I
super
hate
Harry
I hate to say that shit, but I mean, if you were to be like Billy on the Street, I'll give you $1 if you can hum one tune from Hook, I'd be like, take me out to the ball game.
That's $1.
You got $1. But the stuff that they used in the levels that would not necessarily have been in the movie, it's great. Just original, very thematic, very drawn. All of it ties together really well. There's something to be said about a score of a game that actually has elements from the other songs, and it all keeps it in sort of a thematic kind of way. I could not believe how good it was.
Yeah, it was
musically,
fantastic.
graphically, it was a cinematic platformer that could have easily stood on its own.
It
without the
almost,
movie.
I feel like the graphics and the music almost run counter to the movie, because it's not a dig at the movie. It's just, it's so different stylistically than the movie, because it's not trying to be realistic at all.
Like Peter Pan.
It's more like Peter Pan,
Yeah.
but not the Disney-fied Peter Pan.
Right.
Like it's
almost
even more than legally distinct. It's kind of like, well, it's going to be more like Disney's Peter Pan than Hook, but also it's more Japanese. I mean,
It definitely
it's more
is.
anime.
It's anime Peter Pan. And that's the cool thing about Peter Pan. It's like the Winnie the Pooh license. No one owns that. It's a free thing. You don't have
Public domain.
It's public domain. It's Peter Pan's been around for fucking ever. And yeah, so it's nice to see that, and they nailed it as far as I'm concerned.
The music too, I feel like, because the music and Hook is obviously in the movie is very orchestral and a movie score.
Cookie cutter for fantasy children type movies.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the game it's lively, upbeat, and like it sounds like a video game soundtrack that is also like trying to pay homage to like the source material, like the movie source material. And I mean the video game is very Japanese. It was developed by Ukiyote and published by Sony ImageSoft in 1992. So that's the other thing, is that this is a 92 game, and it doesn't feel like it. It feels like a later Super Nintendo game because of how good it looks and how good it sounds, and the presentation I feel like is top notch.
Even the control scheme is fair to say it's one of the better ones I've experienced as far as early games go.
Yes.
Gave a lot of thought.
92 is wild.
Yeah.
It really is.
They gave a lot of thought to the controls in this game, and I think that honestly still falls. I think you could say that there's a sort of a lumped in graphics, sound, controls, right? Those are all the three kind of main bullet points that I like to look at first and lump it in as either a good thing or a bad thing, unless the graphics are great but the sound sucks, kind of thing,
Sure.
But they did hit on all three of those points for me.
I agree. I think the controls are a little simplistic. It's kind of like a 2-button kind of game.
Yeah, for sure.
And, that might bother me if I'd have been like, this game came out in 97, but with it being like 92, that's early enough Super Nintendo where it's like, okay. I mean, and what else was there to do with the buttons? It's a pretty simple platformer, and where you jump and you attack. So you've got those 2 buttons.
I like the variety in the levels.
I agree.
Where you can... It's nice that, Tinkerbell to fill up your fly meter.
Yeah.
And there are levels where you fly, levels where you're swimming, levels where you're combining everything. And then, there are some environmental aspects, like whenever you can hit, I don't know the Lost Boy's name, where you kick him, he turns into the ball and rolls down.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Thunder Thump or something like that.
Yeah. And I thought that the game, I loved that we watched the movie before I played the game, because the game, I got the references in the game, and I could make that comparison.
And they don't do you don't have to do any lawyer shit.
No.
Like, it's not like half of the game where it's like you're Robin Williams in a courtroom, like trying to like make it to your kid's ball game or something. What the fuck? You think you're going to hop on an airplane and make it to your kid's fucking baseball game? Like, what the, like, I don't care where you're flying from. That's not happening.
No, that's not what he was doing. He was leaving to try to make the game, and then they were going to get on the plane as a family and go to London.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't flying somewhere to get to the game.
Okay, good. Because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, but he was still stupidly late. And I think they missed an opportunity. Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright.
They could have.
With Peter Pan's
or Aerobiz. it's like an ActRaiser style where it's like you do an Aerobiz segment and then play a level.
But I thought that it was neat that the game followed the movie, and that but the cool thing is you didn't have to see the movie to appreciate the game.
You really didn't.
And
It's true.
They do a really good job of like the little cutscenes that tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
They summarize it nicely.
Yeah.
And I think it was neat to have watched the movie first to know what the game was actually technically based on. But the fact that the game was so good on its own, you didn't have to
see the movie. I agree with that.
And in a rare showing for this time period.
And for this genre.
Yeah, well, the sprites are all appropriately sized.
Yes, they are.
True.
Yes, they are.
In this kind of game, they're usually way too fucking big. They're still slow and floaty, but they're appropriately
Okay,
sized.
so I'm glad you said floaty.
Bad things.
Okay, well, this is split for me because I think the floatiness in this game is actually really good because Peter is floaty. He jumps with this floaty trajectory. It's almost like Luigi jumping in Super Mario Brothers 2. That's what it feels like to me,
for sure.
Just without the crazy legs.
Yeah,
but that's his trajectory feels like that, and I like that. And it's like his arc of the jump. It almost like holds for just a little bit longer than you feel like it should, and I think that's really cool because it gives a sense that he's almost flying.
Right, because that's a theme, is that he's just almost there.
Right.
In the movie, he's just got to do this one last thing and he'll be able to fly. He's so close, and I agree. I think that's well implemented.
I think it's cool, and I think that it's obvious to me that they designed the levels around him jumping like that.
It gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Because the jumps, and there are true platforming challenges in this game. Like even like in the second level, it's like, can I make this jump kind of deal? And it's like it's
just barely.
right. I mean, it's tight. A lot of those are tight, and it's nice to see that they worked it that way, as opposed to like designing levels and then being like, oh yeah, also he jumps really high.
And it's in a lot of those like really tight jumps, they're doable.
They are doable.
It's not to the point, there's that fine line. Tyler, you talked about this a lot. We have blind, we trust falls and things like that. There wasn't any of that mess, and it seemed difficult, but it was achievable. And that's
And if there was, you could fly. So
right.
Yeah.
It's that fine line between that little mechanic getting that right, and I think they went to the good side of that.
I agree. Now, I know you mentioned the slowness, and that's definitely on my bad list. I think it's pretty excruciating. The speed. If Peter had a dash, that would where maybe it's not like unlimited, but like he can do a forward or back dash,
especially in
Holy
flight.
Shit, that would make a huge difference.
Especially in flight.
Yeah, because there are so many times where I'm just plodding along and the enemies move faster than me, and it's like I need to get out of the way.
The enemy's throwing boulders and
shooting 3 arrows at me at the same time, and it is so much faster. It's like it's mean how much faster they are. It feels negligent how fast they are.
I loved having the pan sword.
Yeah, it's like the Master Sword in Zelda, where it fires off the magic bolt. Yeah,
I wish there was
Super
more of that.
refreshing.
I feel like it was lacking some cool power-ups, enhancements. Like let me be able to summon a lost boy. Let me be able to find that item. Yeah, like
where was Nana? Come on, we need Nana.
Like
in this
Maximum
game.
Carnage,
Drinking
where
the
you can
tonic.
find the assist.
right. Yeah,
Give me where I could summon the lost boy to roll down. Give me a Rufio screen clear.
Fuck
Give
yeah.
me a little
Yeah,
something.
no,
else.
that's
especially if it was
really
Final
good
Fantasy
idea.
style, where like a large
Like
sprite of one of them
Iceman.
comes out and it shakes.
I think I kind of going on what you're saying, Tyler. I would have liked to have been able to shoot up, or at least in
Sure.
a diagonal. That
Yeah.
would be a nice thing.
I didn't have the sword for
do.
very long ever.
Right.
I mean, super
Yeah, one
like
hit
it's
is
super
easy to
hidden.
get hit.
And then it's like, oh, guess I'm back to the dagger.
Yeah.
Good old trusty dagger never fails.
Doesn't beat dagger.
Right.
I also thought it might have been beneficial for some players if there had been difficulty levels, but there's not. You just play.
Yeah.
It's one difficulty level.
It seemed like unlimited continues too.
It did
I don't
seem
know
like
if they
that.
ever run out, but
I didn't play through the whole thing either to find out. And they do give you plenty of opportunities to get extra lives and health and things. It's plentiful enough to be
You can
worth it.
explore and find stuff pretty easy.
Yeah, it's not too hard. It doesn't make you lose
Collect
a lot
all
of
the jewelry
time.
and
Jewelry
stuff
for
like that
points,
around.
which then gives you extra lives as well. And then I thought the only other thing that was sort of missing for me was there's no like power meter for the boss fights. Now, granted, you only had to hit the bosses usually like 4
couple
times and
times,
they
yeah.
would be dead. But even on Hook, you didn't have when you fought him. You don't really get an idea of how far gone he is, and that battle style doesn't change any. So like. In some cases, a boss fight, the boss will start to panic and do this one final last ditch effort.
It was the exact. Yeah, there was no.
There wasn't that, and we didn't know where.
The guy with the punching gloves in the trees is
Yeah.
exactly the same all 3
Yeah.
hits.
Yeah.
To the pirate undead pirate where, as a kid, I got stuck because I never thought to go behind him. So I was stuck there forever as a kid. The ships, the guy who's throwing something at you in the ice level where he's in the middle. I mean, I'm glad they had creative enough boss fights.
Sure.
That's the one where I think
changed
you
up
had
the
to pop
variety.
the balloons to drop the thing
Right,
on him.
he dropped the dynamite.
Which I thought was neat. I thought that was a neat mechanic.
I thought the duel with Rufio at the end of the first level is awesome. I mean, I thought it was really cool because it's like all you have to do is hit him twice, but I mean, he's like constantly blocking, and like that was really cinematic, and like I thought that was really cool.
I thought also one thing that this isn't really a bad thing. It's more of a suggestion that I would have had. It would have been neat if there was a part of the game where like a mini game almost where you're the kids and you try to you have to deal with Hook.
Yeah.
Like you have to outsmart him or hide from him or something,
Just
I
to
think
break
it would
it
have
up.
been neat to break up the action a little with that, like a puzzle game or something against Hook. Because he has school. And he's asking questions and things in the movie. I think that would be neat if you could have played as the kids a couple of times just like you
Mix
said,
it up. Get a
mix it
bonus-
up
get a
little,
bonus level
little
where
bonus.
you're-
Yeah, I think that would have been neat. It's not a big deal, but I think that was a missed opportunity.
I think SNES Drunk had a cool point in that first level. Whenever you hit a lost boy, they stop and hold up their hands.
Yes,
Instead of exploding or something.
dying. Yeah, really cool.
Yep, it's a nice touch.
A lot of thought went into this game
for sure.
An
In
unusually
the world
high
map,
amount.
world map's
Yeah.
really
Joe
fucking
Mac
neat.
style,
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like it's got this like treasure, like pirate treasure kind of style
Yeah.
to it. Even like it's not like sepia toned or anything, but it's got this style to it that's very fitting of the game and of the theme.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where did it? Sounds like it'd be where did it win you? What point were you like, yeah, okay?
For me, it was right away. I was just really, I'm easily impressed by things like graphics and sound and things, and right off the bat, they're hitting you with it. I literally was like, wow, this looks really good. And then the gameplay was a bit repetitive at one point. It starts to get a little bit stale, but I don't think that it ever went out of. I don't think I ever got to the point where I didn't like it.
I didn't get bored with it.
I didn't get bored with it. It was clearly
Basic.
You get to a point where it's just all the same thing over and over, which is not atypical.
Did anybody play the NES version of it?
I've heard it's horrible. I haven't
Yeah,
played it
I
though.
haven't
I want to
either.
play the Game Boy version.
I didn't know there was a Game Boy.
Dude,
Game
it came
Boy
out
Color,
on came
right?
out on a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Which reminds me, we need to play that Grimace
the
Game
Grimace
Boy Color game. that
Yeah.
just-
I posted that in
just put
general
out.
before I realized you had posted it already in new games.
Yeah, I wanna do that. I wanna play that.
God, I love it when McDonald's pulls shit like that.
Yeah. Crunchyroll did something. They
Did they?
released a Game Boy Color game.
Nice.
Yeah. And if it wasn't so expensive, I would have bought it.
Yeah.
We say buy, rent, or birthday.
This is a buy, right?
I think
I'd
it's a buy.
say it's
It's
definitely
a buy,
worth
buy,
having.
or at very least a birthday.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind owning it. I don't think I would have gone out of my way to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would have liked to have owned it. I don't own it currently. I might buy it because I like to have it in my collection currently. But as a kid, yeah, I mean, this might have been one where I rented it first and then been like, yeah, okay, I'll put this on a list to like birthday or Christmas list.
Yep. Where in the scope of Super Nintendo games do you think it would fall?
Carmen San
There you
Diego.
go.
If there's room in the top 100, I think it has a place. But
I think
if
it's very close.
If not, it's really, really close.
Yeah.
It's right there. Because
Like, I would put it in the 90s, or if there were just a few of the elements we'd mentioned, that would kick it over into the top 100 for me.
Yeah, this was a refreshing change of pace for me. And I know you guys had already played it and you knew about it already.
Yeah.
But for me, it was nice to come in and see something that's like, oh, fuck, yeah, okay. This is what I think about when I think of Super Nintendo games.
Sure.
So, yeah, very, very, very good shit.
It'd be a top third for me.
Yep.
Probably top quarter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say top quarter.
Top quarter. It really is like, man, if I could just go a little bit faster, like if there's a ROM hack or something where it's like Peter's speed is increased by 50%. Even that would be he's just so slow, and I would
even items to pick up to make
him go faster, or adding a dash or something.
Getting cocaine from the real world,
from real Robin Williams,
his lawyer powder. Yeah,
that's why they kept doing this in the movie.
But because there were several moments where I would get frustrated because it's like I'm just too slow, and something comes in fast from the side of the screen, or it's just impossible to dodge some things, and that that made it a little less fun for me, because I'd rather play a platformer where I'm thinking on my feet, and this is more a platformer where you're thinking, okay, that guy's gonna shoot the arrow, so I gotta wait for him to do that, and then I gotta go under him, and then I know a bat's gonna fly, so I gotta duck. It's one of those,
memorization,
right? And I prefer more of like a blind run of like a Mario game or something, where it's just like you're just reacting.
The controls are smooth enough to be able to be reactive and stay in the game.
They weren't for me.
I'm saying that's what you want.
Oh yeah.
That's what a Mario game is.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to be able to react, and I don't.
Yes.
Because Peter is slow in this game.
It's
I didn't
if
feel
it
like
were
I
a
had
game
to
like
back.
that, if it had the fast paced tight
Oh
controls,
boy, that'd be
this would be a top
damn near
100.
perfect Super Nintendo game if it had that. Because I agree with all this is probably one of the prettiest Super Nintendo games on the system.
Easily.
And, I mean, yeah, and it sounds great. Top quarter.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. You have any achievements?
I have a few. My first one is I can hold my breath for a long time. And to get this achievement, you die to the fish in the first stage underwater because you're trying to swim up, not realizing there's no breath meter. You could just walk around and fight underwater the same as you do on land. I got this achievement. I was like trying to swim. I'm like, what the fuck?
See, I thought it was a mermaid oral sex joke.
Could be. We could. There, it's interchangeable. Like some mermaids. Okay, the next achievement I have is 60% of the time it works every time. And to get this, you waste time trying to kill the jungle cats that are inexplicably sitting on rocks in the middle of a waterfall.
The Sagat tigers.
Yes, that you absolutely do not have to bother with. And also, for the record, you can buy Sex Panther on Amazon. I'm not making this up. Look it up.
How expensive is it?
It's not bad.
Yeah.
And I think it even says made with bits of real panther, so you know it's good. And my final achievement for Hook is it was a drive-by fruiting. And to get it was a drive-by fruiting, you die with a cherry health, a cherry insight, like just out of reach, you die. I did that too.
Yeah, that happened to me as well.
Yeah. That is a line from Mrs. Doubtfire, by the way.
Yes.
Okay.
No Super Nintendo Mrs. Doubtfire, as far as I know.
Weird. There should be. That would be a good. I think they could make a good.
Could be also real bad. I don't know.
Could be bad, but I think if someone made it today, I think it would be good.
I think if someone made it today, it would be fantastic. Yeah. It would be hilarious.
I want to see Clock Tower redone as Miss Doubtfire, only you're Matthew Lawrence having to escape from creepy, awful Mrs. Doubtfire coming to the house like a kid with scissors.
Okay. I'm down for that. I was thinking like color a dinosaur, but instead of a dinosaur, it's Robin Williams' face. Mr. Potato Headed him into a grandma.
Then you have to like try to get to Pierce Brosnan before he eats the jambalaya with the spikes on it to save his life.
I had two. My first one being Bang a Fucking Rang, and that is you never lose the pan sword once you.
Wow.
Which I'm sure somebody has done.
Probably right. Yeah.
And the other one is like colonial England, and that is you get all the jewels in the game. So you go in, steal someone else's jewels, and keep them for yourself.
Okay.
Like they do.
I have a few. First achievement is bad form, Peter. In order to unlock bad form, Peter, you stab any pirate in the back. which I did a lot.
Yeah. Totally.
Next achievement I have is, why don't you just go suck on a dead dog's nose? In order to unlock, why don't you just go suck on a dead dog's nose? That's fucking gross, by the way. That's probably one of the grossest clean lines I've ever heard in a movie.
I could see like third graders going, ooh, like getting real like bent out of shape about that one.
In order to unlock that, you finish the first stage by defeating Rufio in a duel.
Okay.
And my last achievement is, this is it. Don't try to stop me this time. Don't you dare try to stop me this time. In order to unlock that, you run out of flying power despite watching the meter dwindling and fall to your death.
Yes, that happened a lot.
Yes,
me.
same.
Over spikes.
Yeah.
Spiky caves.
Pits for me.
Pits.
Yeah, pits.
With the pirates that are walking on barrels over the spikes while they're trying to fly around.
Mm-hmm.
Pirate Town was definitely my favorite level.
Yeah.
Like, I love how Pirate Town was set up, where you go on the different exits and you go back outside and have the Lost Boys help and everything. Great final level.
I watched a playthrough at one point that was literally titled "Hook on the SNES: The Death of Rufio," and then one of the lines in the memo was like, "He got Rufy owned." Am I right? I was like, "Damn, that was good shit." It was awful, but it was good shit.
I think the world record for this is 14 minutes, 13 seconds.
Wow.
Damn, that's a quickie.
Is that a
could see it,
glitchless run or?
The only time I saw there were damage boosts and shit, but the only time I saw...
those are wild in this game. I did a bunch of those accidentally. It gave me like Ghosts and Goblins memories. Yeah.
The only time I saw glitches exploited were in the pirate cave. Getting through that, like flying into the darkness and doing certain moves and stuff, and basically skipping through a ton of it at the end. Other than that, it was a pretty just well played.
That's impressive.
Really well.
Yeah. I mean, the glitch stuff's always impressive too, but I always find it way more impressive when it's like a clean,
Yeah,
like
I like
glitchless
that
run.
more, yeah.
I think that's really
Play it
neat.
the way it's supposed to be played really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about rank, rarity, and price?
Sure.
Flopsy.
How much do you guys think this game is if you were to buy it used now in 2023?
I would speculate that this one was probably pretty mass produced.
Because it came out for everything.
For everything, and it was a huge deal. I'd say, but being such a good game, I'd put it at $19.13.
$19.13. Okay.
Let's say 25.
$25. Actual retail value of Hook for the Super Nintendo loose on average, according to pricecharting.com at the time of this recording, is $30.
Tyler with
$30.
the $30.
$30 is pretty good.
I'd say that's
not bad.
Fair.
It's not like an insta buy for me, but
Right.
it's not bad. It's a good price for this game.
for a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It broke my heart because I don't know when the SNES drunk video was made, but when he's like, you can pick this up for about $8. and I was like, ooh,
Fucking
what'd you make this in
hell.
79? What do you think Flopsy gave Hook? And what rarity do you think it might be?
I'm gonna say they had to have given this one at 4 stars.
Okay.
And I'd say it was probably common.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go 4 stars common.
4 common. Okay. Tyler, what do you think?
I haven't seen it in so many years or had it talked about. Even though I would give it 4 stars, I would say they're going to give it 3.5, and I'll just say uncommon.
3.5 uncommon. I saw it earlier, so I can't play. But according to the Ultimate Nintendo Guide to the SNES Library, 1991 through 1998, by Pat Contry, courtesy of Monster Mold Mike and a shadowy benefactor. Oh,
Crack.
Oh, God.
It never gets old.
They gave Hook 3 stars.
That is too low.
Availability is common.
It's too low. That's one of the times where I feel like they didn't give it enough.
It is strange for them to be stingy with the stars. I'm good with 3. personally. 3.5 is probably my upper limit.
3.5 is my bare minimum for this one.
I mean, I think it's gorgeous. I just got a little frustrated at points.
I can see why.
In the same way that Pinocchio frustrated me, although this is like a far superior game, but it gave me Pinocchio flashbacks where it was just like, God, if I could just move a little faster. Yeah. Tyler?
Yes, Dave.
Had a lot of fun talking to you boys about Hook.
Game shows.
And especially game shows. But if you were to give this game a beard that sums up, what kind of beard would you give it? I fucked that up.
The beard Robin Williams sports in Jumanji.
Oh.
He is pulled back out of the other world. And what year is it?
1992, sir.
I like it.
Tyler, what kind of glasses would you give this game?
I mean, because it does have its serious, weird tones in it. So I'll give it Robin Williams gold rim glasses from Toys.
Okay.
That he sports
Yuck.
Occasionally.
Fucking yuck.
God.
Ooh, are you sure you liked this game?
I mean, granddaughter stuff. It's creepy.
Okay.
We talked about
The glasses
the
in
glasses.
Hook. Oh
in
my
Hook.
God.
I was being triggered left and right by the way they were treating this man's glasses, touching the lenses and folding them up and sticking them in his mouth. It was driving me fucking crazy.
My glasses. I can't see without my glasses. He can't see. That's it, right? Was that a podcast?
That's it.
Did we
That's
do
a
it?
podcast.
We gonna pick what we play next?
You guys want to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll see what we're going to play.
Randomizer.
Toys? You just want to do it?
Nope, not yet.
I'd be fine with it.
Should make a Robin Williams. Let's go and knock
I'd
all the
have to
Robin
watch
Williams
that
out.
movie, but
Ooh, boy, I don't want to do it. If it comes up naturally,
Yep.
let's do it. But
Fair.
otherwise, oof. God, that movie fucking made me so disappointed as a kid.
Well, it looks like it
Holy
would be like,
shit.
oh, man.
No, it's called Toys.
I bet he's so funny in it. Look how goofy he looks. It's Robin Williams.
Oh.
So bad.
So grab the batter up peripheral, plug it in, say the prayer we all love to say.
Tyler, wait. Can I make a suggestion?
Is the
before you
T-shirt
spin?
monster back?
Come in his mouth,
Oh,
Dave.
fuck. Again?
Should have tapped out.
I want to make a suggestion.
Uh-huh.
This was all planned. This is not spontaneous. True Lies. Would
Just
you
go
all
ahead-
want to
go ahead
try
and
that
jump the
one?
randomizer.
I played
pull
that
out
one
True
before.
Lies.
You have played it? Would you like to play it or would you like to spin? I'm putting in a host card to say, I'd like to play True Lies, but if you want to spin, we can spin. What do you think?
I'm
Fine with me.
I'm down to do True Lies if you want to do True Lies.
Has everyone here seen the movie?
Nope.
You should see the movie.
I haven't seen it since it came out. I would need to rewatch it.
I don't know if I can watch it this week.
Okay.
everything happening
Oh,
at
that's
work.
true. All right, well, let's
Put it on the short list
pin it. Let's
Okay.
put a pin in it.
because I'm definitely down to play it. I don't want to spoil anything, but
I've seen True Lies twice this past week. It's one of those I watch anytime it's on, and
Wow.
it happens to be on one of the channels we have.
okay.
right now, so.
I'm absolutely down to do True Lies at some point in the near future.
I only
Okay.
knew that it was that it was an SNES game by watching the SNES drunk about this game
Right.
that he mentions it. So
I'm going to do True Lies in 2 weeks then, whenever all this is over. and I'll have
absolutely. Sit down with Melissa and watch the movie at some point
Yeah.
too, because you'll both love it.
Yeah, because I want to watch the movie for the game.
It's a fucking great
sure.
movie.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
Okay. Say the prayer. We all have to say. Whammies, the whammies, the whammies. Stop.
355. It's toys. 355.
The F's.
The M's.
M's. M's.
I have a hint.
Have we played it?
You'll never get it. That's my hint. Like if you managed to make this string of words come out of your mouth, I'd be super fucking impressed.
Marble Madness.
No, but man, that'd be great.
Max Ronaldo's.
Holy shit, he's right.
I feel like it's
Ding
somebody's
ding ding
name.
ding ding. No, but that's a great guess. It is a game I've heard of, but I've never played. Mohawk and headphone jack.
Mohawk and headphone jack.
Mohawk and headphone jack.
Okay,
All right.
I've never heard of that. You're
That's going to
absolutely
be a
right.
cartoony platformer.
That's my guess. But like I said, I've never played it.
Characters created that nobody asked for type of thing. Maybe.
Maybe. We'll find out.
We'll find out
And
next
so
week.
will you, listener.
All right. Sounds good.
And then True Lies, we'll put that in our
On the short list.
later
Yep.
bucket.
Yep.
And toys, we're going to wait till that motherfucker shows up on his own.
Thanks for listening, everybody. You can find the show on iTunes, not SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, all over the place. Just put us into your favorite search engine. Do you want to leave us some calls? We've been taking calls. We're not going to get to it this week, but in the future, if you want to help us build back that log, 270-883-2555. If you want to send us something for an intro or outro or whatever, something for Community Corner, you send that to TADPOG Studios, care of Nicole Nance, P.O. Box 3785, Paducah, Kentucky 42002. Now, there's a lot more, but most importantly, Patreon.
Patreon.com/tadpog or pistachers.com is where you can go to donate money to the show. Like so many of our fine fans that do so every month. And we have a list of people that donate $20 or more every month to the show. And we call these fine folks our executive producers. And I'm going to read that list of names right now, starting with Usurper Grimm, Cousin David Galino, Plinko Nick Price, Cubicle Monkey, Cthusiast Jeff Miners, Master Cycle Baron Kevin Link, Joseph Phillips, Gamebug Prime Nathan Eaton, Matt Gentile, a.k.a. Gentle G, Princess Consuela, Banana Hammock, Flavor Trick, Taryn Dahl. Congratulations on your marriage, and we're really glad about all the participation in the Discord. It's good to hear from you on the regular. Pinball Airplane Archmage Chris Edler, we're sorry you couldn't be on this episode. Platinum member Brett Miller, Sandwich Pope Phil Hawkins, Nate from Utah, first-time caller, Drinksmith Joey Webster, Dig Dougie, Derek Pope Sandwich, and Cody Phillips. And that's what I got. Thank you so much to everyone that donates.
Yep, thank you.
Thank all of our donors. It means a lot to us that you would take your hard-earned money, especially in these trying financial times, to give us the ability to keep doing the show and improving upon it as often as we can. Thanks also to Backlog Manager Dane, who gives up his time each week to put our show on YouTube,
Yep.
because
Thanks,
that's a big deal to us. It matters a lot, and it's really important that you do that. So thank you. And then just once again, thanks to the community in general. We do have a Discord, bit.ly/tadpog Discord. Come in there, join the conversation. It's free. We're always around. Lots of good, cool, fun people hanging out there, having funny and very deep, meaningful conversations in some cases. And then spread the word, let people know about the show, and thanks again.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So our theme song is Moves by Sycamore Drive. Link to that check. Come around the charts at tadpog.com. How you guys want to close it out?
This is our favorite character from Huck.
All right. So until next time,
Tropical
Capricorn.
We all know.
About right. And now a redneck anime reading. Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you realize the only that truly exists in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility. Listen, everywhere you look in this world, wherever there's light, there'll always be shadows to be found. And as long as there's the concept of victors, the vanquished will also exist. The selfish intent of wanting to preserve peace initiates wars, and hatred is born in order to protect love. There are nexuses of casual relationships that cannot be separated. Madara Uchiha.